Not the Chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise.
I have a real soft spot for evil.
Blood flying everywhere.
So good.
I'm a big boy who doesn't get scared.
Out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Welcome, cursed Chuddle Club members, to a brand new meeting of the Chuddle the Pod Horror Movie Club. Tonight we gather to discuss 2013's Curse of Chucky. My name's Brian. I am, of course, joined by my beautiful co-occupants of the pod, Ross.
Oh, hey!
Hi, bud. And Sam.
Sup?
Not much. Sup with you?
Just hanging out? I was just walking by my computer and I saw you guys.
Threw a curveball at him.
So
yeah, we just throw the invitation out, and if you just happen to come by, you can get on. Thanks for joining me. But before we get into our film today, we of course have to welcome back our Chucky connoisseurs of fright and nightmarish delight, and such. Cody and Sergio, thank you so much for joining us again. The Horror Bandwagon. We love
I
you
was
so
wondering
much.
how long you were gonna go.
Not long.
How many
I had to end
adjectives you can give us?
I was running out quick.
Well,
Really?
well, thank you for having us. Oh, thank you for letting us out of the chamber in.
We keep you there.
In the coven.
Oh, yeah.
It was getting hard to breathe, but I'm glad that this happens monthly, so we can experience actual oxygen
out.
Sure.
Yeah, not just feeding you fish heads and bread.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I appreciate it.
better.
Exactly.
Welcome to the coven.
Good
You
answer.
better.
It's getting a little packed in there, but maybe we'll puncture a few more holes in the box.
Thank you, thank you, sir.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you so much for being here, guys. We're going to go ahead and get into the movie in just a second. But speaking of that coven, we got to thank them so much. That is our Patreon and our patron of witches. You guys give us life, and we thank your beautiful souls for that sacrifice. And speaking of beautiful souls, we have two more coven members to anoint with a freshly brewed witches' names. First, we have Metallic Mike, the Ravenous Witch of Perpetual Night. And Tiger Snake Kate, the Goo Witch of Eternal Fate.
Oh my god.
Thank you both, Mike and Kate, so much for joining up the coven.
Yeah.
They have access to all of not all of our, but a lot of older stuff, all the exclusive nonsense that we have created, which is non-horror movies, real gnarly segments, creepy files continuing over there, which is something that we used to do on this show. They got access to that. They can see us, our faces are present there talking about these things. The Chuddle battle.
Eventually,
it's a fun time.
You'll get toes one day. If you stick long enough.
That's true.
Okay. Don't hold us to that.
If you live in international waters and at a certain point want a human toe, I'm not saying on air that we can facilitate that.
Meaning like shots,
but send us an email.
Shots of your own toes. Let me be clear.
Feet pics?
Not sending
Ross
just random toes.
That's what I thought too, Ross. That's what I thought too.
I totally got you got to pay for the Tootsies.
I think I showed my hand too early.
God damn it, Ross. I don't know. Something's up. Our cannibal senses are something there, right?
Yeah.
That was it.
Something's tingling. It's like somebody wants my damn toes. Thank you guys so much, Coven. You're awesome. Thank you, new witches. You're amazing as well. And we can't wait to see you in the Discord.
Thank you, Mike and Kate.
Talking, chatting, hanging out, or not. You don't have to be in there. You do you.
Oh, Mike is also part of the Horror Junkies. Check out the Horror Junkies podcast.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Horror Junkies.
Do it. Enough of all that. We got to get into what we're talking about tonight.
Yes.
And just let you know, we're going to keep it spoiler free up top and let you know when those spoilers drop. And with all club members present and accounted for, let's open up that goo book and officially begin tonight's meeting.
Give me that goo. Oh yeah.
Hey, thanks, Sergio.
You got it. I worked hard for that one.
Sure did.
Let's do some goo lines, logline and taglines. First off, our logline: after her mother's mysterious death, Mika begins to suspect that the talking red-haired doll, her visiting niece has been playing with may be the key to recent bloodshed and chaos.
Too much.
That sentence
Written poorly.
It's just like
Yeah.
we got very poorly written.
Yeah.
There's a lot of poorly written stuff here. I noticed there's poorly written trivia.
Oh,
so I'm gonna
no.
fumble upon
Interesting.
some of those words later too.
Okay.
A lot of
Very
uneducated
interesting.
fans of Curse of Chucky.
Interesting.
This
I didn't say
Oh,
that.
no.
I
didn't say
know.
that.
Wait a minute.
Oh no.
Damn, came busting through the door with that one.
I didn't say
Well-
that you are, but clearly the ones on IMDb are, and I'll stand by it.
That was definitely the sentence version of like when you leave, before you leave the house, just take one accessory off.
Yeah, keep it
Yes.
simple.
Yeah.
Exactly. Something needed to be removed from there for sure.
Grammatical, too many accessories.
Well, with our taglines, we only got 3 for this one. There's not a plethora of. I feel like the last couple have had like 7 or 8 options. But
Sure.
be afraid. Be effing afraid. Which,
Okay.
sure,
No.
Okay.
that works with it, with who Chucky is, but doesn't really work with the movie,
Not the
Next
vibe.
one. right? Foul mouth, foul temper.
I don't like that either.
Okay.
Fear has a new home. I think that's the one that works.
That-
the
That
best.
might be the most fitting to
Is
the
it
movie.
Is it the best?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it
No.
works.
It's the best,
The best
out of
of
the
the
options
three.
given to
Yeah.
us. That is the best.
Yeah. So let's go over to who made this one. This is again written and directed by Don Mancini.
I got a tagline.
You got a
Playtime's
tagline.
over. Playtime's over. Was that already
Oh,
used?
that works. I don't know, but if
Because
it's not,
I feel
Again.
like it gives you the sense, danger is coming, and also it kind of shows we're not in horror comedy, balls to the wall nuts anymore. Like,
sure.
you can take that, Don. I know you're listening.
Of course he is. Of course.
The next release, the next
Always.
when the 4K comes out.
So he did this one as well. Our cast: Chantal, oh god, Kisnell is Sarah, Fiona Dorif as Nika Dorif. Correct, that is Brad
Sarah?
Dorif's daughter. Who's Sarah?
Brad.
What? Chantal? Yes. Daniela Bisuri is Barb. That just says A. Martinez is Father Frank. Maitland McConnell is Jill. Brennan Elliott as Ian. Summer Howell as Alice. And Brad Dourif as Charles Lee Ray. That's what I've just included. Other cast of characters rolling in and out, but that's where we're going to be focusing on with this
Mhm.
one tonight.
Fiona Dorif, Brad Dorif's daughter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it in the family.
Bring it into the franchise.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Kills it.
Yeah, she's awesome.
I don't know. Is this her debut film or?
I
I
will
don't
let you
know.
know. See, I
No.
knew her from something else without knowing it.
Oh, shoot.
She is in Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective
Yes.
Agency.
That character is so fucking good.
Oh wow,
She's hilarious in that. That show is hilarious.
She was
I
also in
watched-
the Blacklist.
I watched a lot of that when I was in Japan.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, like downtime and like
that was
stuff
just the
that was
go-to.
available.
Yeah.
For whatever,
Yeah.
like, because things are different. Like, so, like, Netflix had that available over there. And I
Sure.
was like, okay,
She was
I'll
also in
get
an
this and watch
episode.
this while I'm on the train.
She was also in an episode of Shameless. Okay, she's got quite the resume.
Yeah.
She's in the Purge
she's doing
TV series. So if we ever jump into there, we might see that.
I first saw her in the Chucky show because I hadn't seen this yet.
I unfortunately had seen her in the Chucky show as well before I had seen this. So we'll get there eventually.
Oopsie
But
doopsie.
yeah, right.
Whoops.
It's fine. It didn't like change my enjoyment.
Yeah,
of
it's
what I
totally
was
fine.
Yeah. So
If anything,
that's
it
it.
helps explain what I saw on Chucky because that's when it started getting a little confusing. I was like, I'm going to take a break.
I was like, wait, missing some plot points here.
Well, let's get into this.
Fatality.
On a scale of 1 to 10, psycho to the sadness, how gory is this film? We rate this with our consistency and intensity added up. 1 to 5 for both. I can start us off. Consistency, maybe like a 2.5 or something like that, and an intensity of a 3.5 to a 4. So maybe around a 6, 6.5, something like that feels pretty good for this one.
That's exactly
Ross?
where I had mine. That's literally exactly where I had mine. Because it's like the frequency of it goes like, it's spread out, but when you get it, it's pretty intense.
There's some really good ones.
Yeah.
There's some really good ones. I was
Ones I enjoy.
pleasantly surprised.
Sam?
I'm pretty close. I had 2.5 for consistency and a 3 for intensity, so 5.5.
Sure. Makes sense. All right, Cody.
I was going to go for a 3 with frequency and a 4 for intensity. So that puts me at 7.
Ooh.
Sergio, clean us up.
Yeah, I'm going to give it a 3 for consistency and a 3.5 for intensity.
Nice.
6 points. Yeah,
All right.
that's.
Sounds
I
like
think that we all
6.5.
really agree.
Yeah.
Like, it all
Solid
hits right around
one.
6 to 7.
Yeah.
Solid
Mhm.
agreement on there. I'm curious what everyone else thinks. Jump in the Discord. Let us know. Next question for everyone.
Who is the horror forward?
Got 4 questions flying at y'all. We'll start it off with what kind of subgenre does it belong to? I said slasher.
Slasher.
Thriller.
Mhm.
This hits it on the
Slasher,
head.
Thriller.
Thriller.
I also put goth Tim Burton-esque.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit
Definitely
of
has that filter
it's-
over
Like
it.
the house
Yeah.
very feels like Tim Burton would love that
yes.
house.
Everything's shot down, very elongated. It's,
Everything just needs more like points and swirls.
I kind of want to
Yes.
say crime drama a little bit, like hints
Yeah.
of it.
Sure,
Yeah.
like in the first
Like a
one.
thriller.
The first one
Like,
was
yeah,
way
yeah,
more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it can,
Mhm.
feels very, very connected to that.
supernatural slasher.
Yes, Ross.
Sure. Yeah, sure. How do you guys think we should watch this one? I said quieter is what I kind of pointed on the scale. Like, just
Yeah.
like hang out in the movie. If we have people with it, you can enjoy Chucky when he's having fun and doing stuff, but let yourself kind of
It's not a rowdy movie.
Yeah,
for
I-
sure.
It's not rowdy by
I
any
agree with you.
means.
I feel like there's
Yeah.
there's like fun parts and really like, whoa, crazy, but I really do feel like this is more of the mood is just quiet with your person or by yourself, and you just need a movie to watch, set the mood, and just watch it. I feel like that's more the vibe.
Oh, totally. Yeah, I mean, like if Bride and Seed were the party, this is the mellow after party after that.
Yeah.
Like you want to.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're chilling at the end of the night.
Yes.
And you're
Yeah,
ready to just like. I
It's
don't know.
once again like a total change in tone and for the franchise.
Well, that's when I'll ask this question. Should you know anything before going in? I said, yeah, maybe it's a tonal change again. Those are my exact words.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
could help.
Knowing it's a tonal change, if you had watched the prior movies leading up to this, I would say you probably wouldn't need to. You could just, knowing Chucky's a killer doll, you could just come into this movie.
Yeah, and
I
I
agree.
was actually going to say my answer for how should you watch this movie. I was going to say probably right after the second one, and just like I feel like apart from some of the references that we get near the end of the movie, this feels more like something that could have been a sequel to Child's Play 2, because it continues that tone, like you said, that while we love Bride of Chucky and Seed and they get, the silliness there, I think it feels a little more like a straight continuous series
Yeah.
for this one.
I really agree with that. I almost to the point where I wanted them to do something with Child's Play in the title versus like something with Chucky on it.
Yeah.
Chucky.
I know that like they
They probably
did
didn't
honestly.
own it. Do you think they
Yeah, I
owned-
think.
I was
Wait, no, but then it was.
I don't know, but
Mhm.
they should go. I like it being Chucky because, like, the Nightmare on Elm Street, I'd be fine if they were called Freddy, and I'd be fine if Friday the 13th were called Jason. Mostly just because growing up, I just called them the Jason movies or the Chucky movies or whatever.
That's
you know
true.
what I mean? And then it was like, I remember having, for all three examples, having to find out what movies those characters were from. Like,
And
Well,
I
I
feel
think-
like, sorry.
No,
No, I
please
just
go.
feel like, I think that's right. I think for a long time, I always referred to them as the Chucky movies and then realized there is Child's Play. Like there is the title Child's Play.
Yeah.
And if you're not familiar with the series itself, I feel like you will always refer it to Chucky and forget that
Sure.
the first three are.
but I agree with you, Ross, that it and Cody, I guess, that it does feel more like a companion to those first two movies than it does with the two movies prior to this one.
Certainly.
To the Chucky movies
Oh, yeah.
rather than the Child's Play movies.
Do you think this one would be good for beginners? I said yes, because why not? Like
Yeah, absolutely.
Jump in, whatever. If you
'Cause
see
this
this
is-
as your first one, I think this would be a good
It's got some cool gore to test out how you feel about gore.
lore stuff. Might get a little hazy because there's all that sprinkled
Especially
throughout
at the
it.
end.
But yeah,
Totally.
especially at the
Yeah.
end.
But it's almost like a not a hard reset on the franchise, but a soft reset. I guess would be the best way of putting that.
Yeah.
Where it's like
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
it's
Well, it's because like close to being. I feel like they got in the writing room where like we want to do a reboot, but not really.
Well, I
But,
was going
like,
to say,
kind of.
this sort of feels like an early requel.
Sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised they let Don Mancini direct again, or that he had the chance, to be honest, after Seed.
Well, there's
I guess it was
There's a
like
bit of
10
trivia.
years later or something.
I'll give that might lend a tone to that or aid to that. So the Harbinger of Doom,
It-
Mothman. What's up, Sam?
It's just a weird thing I didn't realize till we were just talking about it. Aside from, obviously, Chucky's language and some of the gore, it almost kind of feels like a PG-13 horror movie to me. In the tone of it, the look of it, the
Mm-hmm.
pacing. I don't know why. It has that sort of.
Oh, I agree. But then you get them gore scenes, baby.
Well,
Right.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure that could have
It's
blended
obviously
more.
not, but
That could have blended more with the version if you're watching the rated version too. And there's like, which was supposed to also play more towards TV versus the unrated, which
Mhm.
obviously,
right.
so it could have been edited down to even look more PG-13. So that's I get that feel to it for sure. He don't worry, he didn't go away. Harbinger of Doom, he's still out there fapping away.
He's still out there fapping away.
He's still hanging
All right.
out. Any big trigger warnings for this one that you can think of outside of your normal lumps and bumps? I mean,
Horror stuff.
eye stuff. If
for
you
sure,
have a
eye
little-
stuff.
If
Yeah.
the Fulci's give you
Well,
freakies.
you know what's weird? Eye stuff normally really stands out to me, and I didn't. This one, something about it didn't get me.
Sure, of course,
Yeah.
of course.
Unlike Fulci, which definitely does.
Have we always said fear
In a
of
good way.
dolls for each
I
of these
think
movies?
I mean, yes, it's definitely
I think
come
we
up
may
one
have
of the
started
time.
with
Yeah,
that,
and you just let it-
maybe, yeah.
Who knows? It's probably on a rotation.
I will say I have mixed feel. We'll get into that, but I have mixed feelings about the design of this one. But I do.
We all do. Don't worry.
But I do feel like if you have a fear of dolls, this might do that for you because it's a mixture of being like, but also stay away.
hmm
Yes.
Yeah, if you have a fear of dolls, don't watch a Chucky movie.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
particularly this one.
Otherwise, yeah, I don't think, unless you have anything else to say, there's any other big things to hit on there besides
No.
heading on over to this place. Spoiler zone. We're going to jump into IMDb behind the scenes to get a couple fun facts for you all.
Oh.
This, well, you'll see.
Oh no!
Like I said, the wording of stuff is really weird and I'm probably going to screw up.
All
But
right.
quickly, Don Mancini described this film as his first real horror film as a director, since
Oh.
Seed of Chucky was more of a comedy in his
Also,
eyes.
he didn't
and
even
probably a lot of
try
people's
for
eyes.
Seed of Chucky. No, I'm kidding.
But realistically,
Well, I would
yeah.
agree. It is such a
Yeah.
comedy.
Mhm.
It's a horror comedy in the sense that it's more of a comedy than a horror.
It's a comedy with some horror aspects to it, while this one just hones in on the horror.
Pretty straightforward, yeah.
At points during filming, Chucky's face had to be covered with tape because it legitimately scared the actress who played Alice. So she got scared
so
sometimes.
there
and
you
had to
go.
cover him
I'm
up.
telling you.
She's so sweet, too. I like her.
And so, speaking of maybe letting him write and direct this one, this is the first film in the series to be a direct-to-video release. So it didn't get a theatrical release.
Ah,
So
that's why I probably missed it.
that would make sense.
Cody just
That's
learned
probably
that
why I
today.
missed it.
Cody just learned that today that it was a straight to DVD.
I just learned it just now.
Oh,
Yeah. And I don't know as of what time this is true, but Brad Dourif has said this is his favorite Chucky movie, according to IMDb.
Oh, sure.
And
Yes.
Right.
this is the first time Chucky tries to possess a female.
Well, his daughter's starring in it, so
Yeah.
makes sense that it's his favorite.
Sure, right? Exactly. There you go. All right, this one's a little long-winded, but this might have some stuff for you. Since 2007, Don Mancini had wanted to remake Child's Play, with Brad Dourif reprising his role as Chucky. On the DVD commentary of the original movie, he said he wanted to explore and satirize today's toys and its marketing, like lead being exposed in toys. By 2011, Mancini had seen the negative criticism of recent remakes at the time, like A Nightmare on Elm Street, which led him to believe that a remake wouldn't satisfy fans. And knowing he would have to deal with the legal rights to MGM and Universal.
Okay, that makes sense.
So that was a pain. Yeah. So it was decided to make a sequel that's also a soft remake of the franchise. Many scenes or ideas he wanted for the remake were reused here, like the elevator jump scare being intended for some other characters of the original, and then a new Andy-like character saying bitch. So, I mean, you look at all the how similar it is to the first one. There's a new child. It's Chucky, like whispering things to the kid. You know,
yeah. Chucky said this. Yeah,
Chucky said there is no God.
Who called it a requel?
I did.
Yeah.
To use the parlance of today,
yes, exactly.
I do think it's probably the earliest requel in a series that I can think of.
Oh yeah.
Yes and no. Evil Dead 2 is kind of a requel, because of how they had to do it. Because they couldn't have the rights to. Sure. It almost seems like, they kind of redo the beginning of 1.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or they redo 1 as the beginning of 2. Yeah. But it's not a proper requel because it's confusing. You're like, are they pretending the first one didn't happen? What's going on here?
Like, what's going? Yeah.
Whereas this one really is truly just continuing the story, but starting it with brand new characters.
Yes.
There's no legacy characters brought in. You just have Chuck.
You know what this is?
Chuckster.
This is Child's Play (Taylor's edition).
Don's edition.
Yes,
it totally. It does feel like
exactly.
Him putting a sort of stamp on it, and
that's fantastic.
That's
I
why
also feel
beautiful.
I feel for Don.
So good.
I feel for Don because I feel like he always wants to do these like very deep movies where it's like, oh, we're talking about child's marketing and how it appeals to that, and he wanted to leaned into that more, I believe, with the first one, and then they added the voodoo stuff, and he was like, I guess, and now he's like,
all right,
I guess we'll just do a mixture of things for this one.
He's like,
his first one was supposed to be all an allegory for like children's marketing and toys, and they turned it into a killer doll movie.
When do I get to make my movie? Don Mancini wanted to redesign Chucky ever since he was attached to make a remake of the original movie. He wanted Chucky to resemble more modern dolls that appear more human and uncanny.
It is uncanny.
Yeah.
Mancini managed to around with this idea, with Chucky's face looking more human-like without his scars during the first half of the filming and marketing.
See, that's the creepy aspect that I'm talking about. The uncanny thing.
Just stop.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I have a question that maybe somebody can answer. Did Don Mancini write the remake that did happen?
No, he didn't write the remake.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
that's from 2019.
Right.
Yeah, with
no, they originally had Don involved, but they had I think Don had a falling out with the MGM and stuff like that. So he's kind of like no to that remake.
So that's the only one that only Chucky thing that he's not involved with. Just curious.
Sure.
But Uncanny
Valley, especially hearing all this remake stuff.
Yeah, this is still when he's wanting to do that idea, and it sounds like he's like, that's probably just not going to work. So he retooled it to be the continuation.
Good, that's smart.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Just rolling into our picking of this one, it's just continuing in, like we said, and this was my first time experiencing it. I believe it was for you as well, Sam.
Yep.
Nice.
This and Cult will both be firsts for me.
Same for me, Ross.
I saw this when it first came out streaming somewhere. I remember watching it digitally because I don't.
It wasn't in theaters.
It was not in theaters. Yeah. I had some opinions on it when it first came out, particularly with the look. The look gets me, man. I can't.
Of Chucky.
Yeah, it's
This looks like he has like plastic surgery, like he's done some cosmetic surgery, and I'm like,
but some of the actors do too.
It just fits into the world, man.
Well, doesn't this doll resemble one of the girls in this movie? There's a shot that I'm like, you look like that actress. Like,
yes,
Barb.
It's the giant. It's this giant
eyes.
thing.
The one who
the
most
cheeks
looks like they had
and
plastic
the eyeballs.
surgery.
Yeah.
Thank God you reminded me. Yeah, that exactly.
So when did you guys first jump into this one here, Sergio and Cody?
Well, I don't want to give away one of my ratings this early in the episode, but we have watched this before.
Yeah.
So this was number 2 for me. But it felt like the first time. So
just like the first time.
Like a virgin.
I actually don't remember when I saw this movie. Unfortunately, I did remember when they said, "Oh, it went to DVD," and I thought like I'll watch it eventually. And I think it was on Netflix, like specifically on Netflix, and I saw it, but it didn't really affect me much. So I guess like now I'm taking it in a little bit more. But yeah, that first time, completely forgot.
What's up, Sam?
Sorry, nothing. Sergio said it didn't really affect me much.
Actually, that's
and
perfect.
I wanted Brian
to do the drop.
Sure.
Do the
Sure. Of course.
So he's not going to do the drop.
Oh, no.
So you're not going to do the drop?
That don't impress me much.
I'm gonna force it out of there. All right.
So yeah, sorry. I got the vapors because you said it didn't affect me much.
He said the thing.
Cool.
Great.
So
Great.
we all saw it and it
Perfect.
didn't have much to say about. Well, the 3 that saw it didn't have much to say about it.
Yeah.
And now we all have to talk about it. We'll see if it goes for another 2.5 hours.
No, this one's going to be a nice and tight recording.
I'm trying to be better about my notes, and we'll see if it reflects here. Not because I didn't dislike the movie. Spoiler, guys. I enjoy this one. All right. We open with a package being delivered to this old Victorian house surrounded by woods. A knock at the door introduces us to Nika and her mother, Sarah. Sarah's painting and can't be bothered, so she has Nika to answer the door. And we also quickly learn that Nika is in a wheelchair, and it's probably a bigger
There we go.
issue for her, but whatever. She's obliges,
Right, exactly.
and answers the door. And after some flirting with the delivery man, Nika is left with her mother,
Which I
and she's like,
if I were that delivery man, I'd be flirting too. That's all.
Oh, ow, ow, ow. All right.
yeah,
Oh, honey, he was just being nice.
I was
exactly.
like,
The mama ain't
Fucking
mama's
are you
being
kidding me?
mean.
God.
That's too much. She could have gone out on a date right then and there.
Well,
Yeah.
do you think she really just doesn't want to see her get hurt? I mean, she's just worried. That's what she says, right?
That's right.
Yeah, no.
She doesn't want to lose her. It's a real
Oh,
situation.
God damn it. Chop that out. Gone. It's gone. Don't worry.
Oh,
Edit that
no.
out. No, you're just gonna bleep it out. You won't even have.
Oh, it's a real something, and we're all gonna start laughing. Never gonna hear me talking
You
about
know what?
cutting. They're all gonna wonder what
Talking
it was.
about bleeping it
What it
out.
was.
Oh,
That
this is great.
movie. We haven't even seen that movie, and it's haunting my
You'll love it.
eyes.
Yes,
Everyone loves
exactly.
it. We
Everyone loves it.
Ross
but
loves
me
it.
and Brian, and Ross is a secret lover of it.
I remember
and it's coming out
one
more and
day-
more with each day that passes.
Our Discord.
It's okay, Ross. You don't have to dislike it with us. We will still be your friend.
So you like?
That don't impress me.
So they've gotten a package, and we are quickly learning that Sarah's Mama Sarah's a little bit overprotective. Nika's in a wheelchair for whatever reason. I don't think we get too much of her backstory yet, but they open up our package, and this is our introduction to Chucky. He's just sitting in there, some packing peanuts, hanging out.
Yeah. And I have to stress this, that the doll
Chucky.
version, I'm fine with.
That looks great, I think.
Looks great.
Yeah.
And it's just these weird transitions when you go from the doll to like animatronic Chucky, at least until the third act of this movie.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of just have that like, oh.
See, for
There's
me,
Some really bad looking stuff. Go ahead.
the
Sorry.
doll just like looks a little different every time.
Mhm.
Like I think
Well,
that
this one looks a little like porcelain-y.
Well, I was
than-
going to say the like basic Chucky when he's Toy Storying it and not moving. He looks a little bit. I said this to you. He looks like a goober because he just has that like
That's like the word.
face.
Goober.
But then I don't know. I do wish that we were a little more consistent with like. Usually we have Toy Storying Chucky and then Alive Chucky, but now we have Toy Story Chucky and then Chucky who needs a little bit of sleep because he's got bags under his eyes. Then we have Chucky who, like, with like very hollow eyes. And
Yes.
like
Bloodshot eye
there's-
Chucky.
The eyes change so much.
Yeah.
He's
I
stressed.
will say though, I really like the doll eyes with the little sunburst type, like
Oh, yeah.
triangles around the pupils.
Mhm.
It's just a little touch for the design that I like.
Yeah, the design choices are odd here. By all means.
Do you
I
think it's
we'll
like
continue.
budget-wise?
Is it still our same guy?
I mean,
Uh,
it's.
I think
I'm not positive,
Kevin
but
Yeager? Was that who it was?
I mean, there's got to be budgetary restrictions on this compared to
straight
the
to
other
video.
stuff.
Straight to video.
I know you wanted
It's
to,
all one location.
yeah, two locations because we have the road. There's a roadside accident, which I know. that-
Oh, yeah.
I thought they did a good job at making it seem like there's more of a police presence and thing going on at that accident than they really had. Because on my second watch, like the way the flares are, and
Yeah.
the guy driving up and one other cop car.
I think
and
the
different things.
cinematography and how things are shot in this is done very well, and they're
Yeah.
playing around with some fun stuff in it just to have fun.
I
with
think
the
Dawn
atmosphere.
has really improved. Not that I'm like a master filmmaker, but I've definitely seen a lot of improvement.
But yeah, and I think that he wrote both of them, but I think it's just the direction he decided to take this movie is what helped a lot too. It's easier to shoot something good when you have something better to work with.
Certainly. And this leads us into the mom ultimately being like, I don't know, must be some odd joke, but no matter. She's going to just throw it out. So we get a shot of the, trash can opening, Chucky being dropped into that overhead. Night has arrived and Nika is woken by her mother's screams. So we get this kind of... Yes.
Sorry, I find it a little like my suspenders of disbelief kind of like loosened a little bit, especially on the second watch of this, because like if you were a captive of Charles Lee Ray and then you had a series of things happen because someone said a doll was possessed by the spirit of Charles Lee Ray, wouldn't you know what the fuck that doll would look like?
Yeah, actually. Like there was no sort of alert that she had.
Oh, when she first saw it and was like,
Yeah.
"Isn't this strange?"
Like she wouldn't make the
Yeah.
connection.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on whether or not.
I guess if you're also
she was
isolated in a house by yourself for
Yeah, she'd have to be aware of that because it seems like it's known, but not. Like, there's
Well-
plenty of things that are known right now that I don't know. It's
Well,
one of
I-
those known unknowns.
But my only counter argument is that if we're in the same universe, by seed, there are motion pictures in Hollywood about these dolls.
Well,
Like,
that
they're-
feels less of a counterpoint to me. Or like, I know plenty of people who, and it's weird, especially we love movies, horror movies, but all movies. You ever talk to somebody and they're like, "Oh no, I don't watch movies," or I had like,
Right.
yeah,
Or, like,
they
someone-
haven't just
someone
seen
like
shit.
me
My
who,
dad
like-
doesn't watch movies.
Like I, up until we started doing the podcast, just like avoided any and all horror movies. If it was called a horror movie, I was not watching it as like a
Totally.
rule.
I guess maybe not for the mother, but for sure the rest of the family.
The daughter?
Well, the mother makes sense. I just
the mother seems like she was has been going through a lot of traumatization and being depressed, and is only recently coming out of this. So I don't think she had time to watch Entertainment Tonight and find out about the Chucky movie. You're also,
like the nanny, you know what I mean? Like obviously there's a bunch of different age variances with this. They like.
And where
somebody would have been like, hey, that's the Chucky doll like from the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. One of them would have known.
Where are we location wise for this one?
Rhode Island.
In my head, it's Louisiana. That house just seems like a fucking beat down Louisiana, plantation.
But it looks cold.
Home, but
it looks very wintry.
Yeah.
Sure.
They have Rhode Island license plates.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because I think that you could also rationalize it by saying that, like,
you would have learned about it in the papers.
But papers also, like, were, at least the papers that we were shown across the series, basically said, oh, this dumb little kid says that this doll is possessed. Well, like,
true.
It's in this movie that we see papers say that it was possessed by Charles Lee Ray, but that's only once she's like specifically looking for that information.
And there's if you scroll through that moment too, where there's all the articles about it all still is just like, these are just claims about this. You're not wrong. Yeah, it's
there's definitely, because was that the first movie? I guess we don't know that they were making.
Well, the production was halted, so who knows if the movie was ever actually made. But there's been enough buzz around it.
But in Bride of Chucky, there was a radio.
So it's like this.
In Bride of Chucky, there was a radio host who was like, or the news was talking about Charles Lee Ray's body is being exhumed and stuff like that. Maybe she could have heard it that way too. Like, there's lots of connections pointing to possibly her seeing a sighting of the doll.
Whatever. None of them knew who it was.
Yeah.
None of them knew who Chucky was. Ross is like, my suspenders of disbelief were slightly loosened if we have like a 5-minute conversation.
Well, because I'm still in the Chucky universe, so like it's at this point in the game, like I'm in it for the ride.
Well, that's why Chucky needed a facelift. That's why he needed to adjust his cheekbones.
He got some work done.
That's why he needed to get some work done. So it's like
fucking Botox.
He was in Hollywood. Yeah,
it's not like the one I remember, so it can't be it. There you go. I think that's the most plausible explanation for it.
Yeah, totally.
I said I love the house that we're in here. This Tim Burton fucking Victorian, cool old elevator, weird house.
I like the design of the house. I don't love how colorless it is. Like, there is no color in that house.
It's a pretty,
which is
dreary.
cool for like the
vibe or
the atmosphere, because the only real color then is like what the characters the soup or something. But
did the mom strike you as someone who would have had a colorful house?
By her painting, perhaps.
And
that was colorful.
At one point it was.
Again,
but
something
it's
connected to
shit.
human was colorful, but the setting itself, I think it was intentional that only the human-y stuff was colorful and all the rest was not.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. It's just trauma house. It's bleak trauma house. I mean, like, it's
that's my favorite type of music, bleak trauma house.
Bleak trauma house.
You see that?
But that's a good point. It is bleak trauma house, because it seems like the only color in here is like when it's related to somebody's trauma. Because even in the flashbacks, they were mostly black and white, except for the sunflower or like the specific things that are related to the trauma for the characters.
I'm sure the use of color is very intentional. Ross, can you spit some color theory at us?
Well, it's just very like it reminds me of when I was a teenager and I got my first digital camera, and it had that technology where you could like have just the one color that was like featured out, and I was like, oh, this is so deep,
so artsy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah,
only the flower is yellow.
Yeah.
Some serious shit.
Oh my god. I do give them props. I wonder if they built this set or if they lucked out with a house that had an elevator in it.
They built this 100%.
Oh,
It's got to be built, right?
Yeah.
Just from the shots.
That's for the style
Then
of
later
house this
sold to the
is, like, the
Babadook.
way it is designed is like, I don't know, some things I don't think are too big. Like,
Yes. It reminded me of, in the stupidest way possible, it reminded me of, oh my God, there was the Hill House, the Vincent Price movie, and then they remade it.
House on Haunted Hill.
House on Haunted Hill. It reminded me of like the weird, like almost Art Deco industrialist kind of crazy ass house. Also very Tim Burton. It's almost like Edward Scissorhands, like the creator's house.
It's almost like Art Deco if you sapped all the color.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So Nika soon discovers her mom laying in a pool of blood. And we get this shot of like the blood pooling over the tile. And within that's revealing
Cool shot.
Nika's terrified face. I thought that was really
Reaction.
really
They,
nice.
they did that a few times with like blood reflections, and every time I was impressed by it in this movie.
Yeah.
Like I feel like it did, like that gag did not get
I
old.
really like that because then that leads into our transitioning of our opening title card of Nika going to grab a nearby phone to grab the police. She's like sitting there in her chair as we pull out. She's on the phone. Sarah's dead on the floor, and Chucky's just like sitting in this like chair nearby, and the camera starts spinning around as the night slowly changes into day. And then we get back to that first position. And it's now like bright day. Nika's sitting in a chair talking to her cop as her mother's body's being like taken away. And
I
then-
really like these opening credits. I feel
It's
like
good.
I always like when people put some effort into their opening credits and make them interesting, and I really like that. I thought that was an interesting choice.
Did they say how the mom died?
Later
Eventually
on,
we
they
learn.
find out,
We
yeah.
see.
But we won't tell.
Yeah.
Not just yet.
That was perfect.
Well,
That was
we
perfect.
learn what it's thought to be in this next coming scene is when we learn about her depression and all that kind of stuff. I said some amount of time. It could be the next day-ish, a couple days. It's hard. They don't really say exactly. But
No.
enter Barb and Father Frank. Barb is Nika's sister, and we learned that maybe their mother had been suffering from depression. Maybe had just been kind of coming out of it, started painting again, and all this stuff. So
Nika's like, she'd been on her meds, she'd been good, this shouldn't have happened. And
right. So then they're
Moms.
thinking this is like maybe a suicide or something. We also meet Ian, Barb's husband, and Jill, the au pair. and
no,
Alex.
actually, I'm a nanny.
Pat.
Gesundheit, I'm an
Okay. And their young daughter, Alice.
One of the few
Because-
bits of humor in it, and it works.
There's another good one coming up in a moment too. I enjoyed, but Nika is very happy to see Alice and even has a surprise for her. And like Chucky's been sitting in that chair in the background, but then we go look back to see, oh, he's gone.
Not there.
It's like, oh, that's weird. Well, I got something for you somewhere. Alice needs to go to the bathroom, and this is where she discovers Chucky hiding in the shower. We get a little.
Wait, this is our first fucked up shot of Chucky, right?
Yes.
He's like warped Chucky.
Oh yeah, I have in my notes that this looks like this Chucky looks like the like picture of SpongeBob from that one episode where he's like in Sandy's little
Dehydrated.
home and he's super
he's dehydrated.
Yeah.
Yes. I had this as literally took the words out of my mouth. My biggest note on this is that it looks like dried SpongeBob and like an anime character got fused together, because it's got these ginormous eyes that are sunken in and it's just nothing looks right. But it's so funny because it's such a weird juxtaposition to the doll, because I feel the doll in its status, even when they're doing the CGI on its eyes and stuff like that, dead ringer. It's so good. It's so canon. And then
It's
you
like
have
the most friendly looking as a doll of any of the Toy Story Chuckies we've seen previously, I think.
Yeah.
Like he's seems the most playable. The other ones still seem like they may be a bit sinister somehow, whereas this one just seems fine.
Yeah, but like this, I don't know. It's
The
just
switch to this version of Chucky
Oh,
was too
God.
crazy. I kind of felt like somebody on the production team laid it next to a hot radiator by accident and was like, "Buck, buck,
Yes.
buck, 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 buck." You know what? Just put it on the screen. Just put it on the screen. What would you do?
Ew, dude! Like what?
It's like
I
they
love
tried
Pink
to
Eye
be,
Chucky.
It's like they tried to be influenced by Dr. Jekyll.
Has
and
he
Mr.
always
Hyde in
had
this
double
one.
the eyelashes? Oh wait, no, that's eyebrows. Sorry.
But it's just weird because it's like his mouth. Okay, so like in the original doll, his lips and mouth are protruding out, and he has like these like chubby cheeks. But in this version, his entire palate is sucked in, and then he has these weird pencil lips, and it reminds me of
forehead for days.
Yes,
the forehead is like.
It reminds me of the weird mutant plastic surgery monsters from fucking Escape from L.A. Like it has that weird like sludgy. I'm like, oh, stop, God!
It does. God. It does look like plastic surgery to me. That's what I see. It looks like someone who got plastic surgery and now their face can't emote properly anymore, and like you can still use parts of your face, but it doesn't express you like a normal human
Botox
would.
Face.
I will say, if he was rotten just a little bit more, if he was rotten just a little bit more, I feel like he could have been a
Chucky got the Botox
garbage pail kid.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah.
On levels there. Well, Alice isn't upset by him. I mean, she's a little scared at first, but she ends up loving it, and she loves
But
it.
the real actress was.
Yeah. His garbage pail kid name is Sucky Chucky because this is the
Sucky
worst Chucky. It's the worst rendition.
Sucky Chucky. Oh my God.
There's something about
that kind of sounds like a fleshlight.
Well, that's the promotional thing they had.
Fleshlight. Sucky Chucky.
Chucky.
Fill it with some ball barf.
Hey, Sergio.
Yeah.
It'll be your friend till the end.
It'll be your friend to the end. Oh God.
Or until post-nut clarity.
Post-nut clarity. Why? I feel like it always comes to Spooge at the end.
That picture of Chucky that you just had up, Brian, that is the post-nut clarity.
Oh, that's that reaction. What did I just do?
Oh God.
Why am I like this?
Why am I like this?
Oh God.
We need to visually put this on the Discord for people to know what we're talking about.
We'll get it on there for sure. Oh boy. Okay, so Alice and Chucky have finally met. She's all happy about it. She found it. Yay. And next we get this, like, we find out that Sarah has left the house in both her daughters' names, and Barb wants to sell the house and place Nika in a home because times are rough. And this is when she really starts talking down.
Public school.
Not public school.
This is another funny moment that I thought of too. Yeah. And like Father Frank is all like, oh, and yeah, she was really looking forward to going to St. Mary's or whatever it was.
Oh, I missed that.
Oh, yeah. It was like,
I think
a funny little moment.
I personally think Barb played this like uptight, like very posh person who just really cared about herself pretty well. I felt like it was very part of her character, and it wasn't going too strong about
like
it.
A cartoon,
like a cartoon version of like, but what do you mean? Like, you know, it's
right.
It's very
Especially
natural
compared to really any of the movies in the series. It is a pretty grounded character for that type of thing.
Yeah.
Because obviously that still comes across.
Very just like upper middle class waspy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Thinks she's a little bit wealthier or fancier than she actually is, type of thing. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, it seems like.
Yeah.
So Alice comes back downstairs with Chucky, and through this scene we can see more of the cracks in the family. The dad is all like, "Oh, this is a great gesture. I love these Chucky things. We had these in the 80s." But Barb's like, "Alice has too many dolls already. Like, this is like," I was like, Jesus,
damn,
right, calm down. Barb's really.
Although that is my reaction to my kids getting toys. I'm like, I don't need any other things in this goddamn house.
Oh, certainly. But like, it's this on top of her being like, "Hey, Nika, don't you want to go live in this assisted living facility? You're totally not capable to do anything yourself, right?
Oh my God.
How could you make dinner for us?" That comes up in a second, right after this,
sucks.
Basically.
Which honestly, when I see how she cuts a tomato, I also wonder how she makes dinner for them.
That is my biggest note. That is like the biggest takeaway. I don't know from this fucking movie. Yeah, let's just get it. So yeah, Alice loves Chucky. Friend till the end. Chucky wants to know what's for dinner. Barb can't believe Nika's going to make dinner.
Oh, is this when he asked for the hug? Does that happen
Yeah,
here?
I think so. Yeah,
Because
it's when they're like,
I really, really like she gives him the hug and his eyes dilate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good
yes,
effect.
that
I
moment
thought
was
that
great.
was so cool.
Mhm.
Yes.
I actually was a little I'm upset is like too much, but I don't know why we changed what Chucky says when like you pull the string, basically, because
Mm-hmm.
it's a little different. Like it's a similar voice, but the pacing of the "I'm your friend" to the end. Ha ha ha. Like, why do we need to change that?
It's similar to the Aoi Dui Dembala chant.
That changes
varies
significantly
depending
here.
on the-
Well, I was going to say, do you think Charles Lee Ray has just forgotten his cadence over time and forgotten how to do
He's
the
losing
voice?
it. He's losing the charm.
That is a reasonable explanation. I will accept that and we can move on.
It's like, wait, how did I do this again? That's good enough.
Nobody fucking remembers.
Nobody fucking remembers. They don't even remember them well. They're like, I think I knew the tour in the 80s. So, yeah, cut to fucking Nika just throwing tomatoes down onto a chopping board and
Fucking chopping at him.
what the fuck?
Jesus Christ.
Chopping, like lifting the knife up into the air and swinging it
She
down.
wants you
onto
to
the
know she
chopping
means
board.
business.
She
You know,
wants
Chucky
to
should
deck
be afraid.
those knives is what
I've
she
never
wants
seen
to do.
anyone cut anything like that. Actually,
Best
I guess
believe
at my
I'm going
old
to be cutting
job,
tomatoes that way now.
so I did work at a place for a long time. Brian worked there for a little bit too. I waited tables
God.
there, and sometimes the owners
probably
were a
chopping
married
shit that
couple,
way.
and sometimes the male owner would be mad at his wife. He'd just be chopping stuff like that, and it'd be like, "Fucking bitch, cunt!
Oh
you
my
wanna fucking
God.
tell me what?" It was gnarly.
You can hear it coming out of the kitchen
Holy
as well.
crap.
Just wafting into
Yeah.
the dining area.
Well,
I
hopefully
was
he
only
has
thinking
all his
keeping them
fingers
together. Shortly after I left, they divorced.
Yeah.
I think it's for the best.
They needed to.
I think so.
Yeah. Yeah, it was not working out. So this is perfect. I know Ross is going to want to talk about Nika chopping tomatoes. We all had our say, but yes. Oh my God. It's wild, right?
A chop scene.
I love it.
Yeah.
Chopping broccoli.
I love how ridiculous. So, but they put this nice little chili together. Alice helps out. And when they go to set the
I
table,
cannot believe there isn't meat in this chili.
But they're surprised. I mean, it must be good. It looked like
It
that
looked
chili.
amazing.
It looked really good.
I thought it looked
I
I
really
thought it was
confused
tomato
because
soup.
I might
but-
have missed that it was chili for a second, and I was like, "Is this tomato soup?"
But
Like,
what kind of chili
it
comes
looks like
together
tomato
in
soup.
like 20 minutes like that? That's any
Yeah,
good.
no good chili.
Yeah.
It cooks that fast. But hey, this doesn't have meat in it.
Um,
Brian's
said
like,
it was
holy
great.
fuck.
also, that chili is
Yes.
definitely super cold.
maybe that's why
by
I'm
the time
bored
they
with
eat
this
it.
movie.
Are
If
you
they all eat a
sure this does
vegetarian
not mean
chili?
in it?
Fuck yes.
dude, I loved the rat poison roulette scene.
Oh.
Like this,
Yes.
you know, for something that's like so presented to you on a silver platter.
Well, that's the way it's done, right? That's that Hitchcock thing of showing you, and now now the audience knows, but they don't know. So who's gonna do what? You know?
And the way the camera just goes around the
Yeah.
table, almost like you're spinning
Well,
a
it
gun
really-
with a bunch of bullets,
Yes.
as it's like you're going around. Who has what?
Like that
You know.
70s
Yeah.
show.
And then
for-
everyone's sitting at random. You know what I mean?
and for
I meant
me,
the overhead shot
it
of
was-
it, but yes.
it was very disorientating to be like, even if you are someone who would just be like, okay, let me look at the table, see who it is. You're like confused by the end because you're just spinning, which I really like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought this was played with very well. This whole scene of them going around, and it's all this different misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of close-up shots of people eating chili, but
I thought for sure it was gonna be the priest,
so did
um,
I, and that's what it.
and that's
is.
what it ends up being.
Being.
But when the little girl started saying the stuff about it, I was like,
Mhm.
Oh
no,
no,
way.
they wouldn't.
Yeah,
No.
and they didn't. But I thought for a second they may have.
My favorite line there is how the priest is like, "Oh, this tastes just like how my mother made it," and I was like, "With a bunch of rat poison in it."
Your mom, hey,
Your
priest.
mom had rat
Hey,
poison.
I was gonna say, hey, priest, your mom fucking hates you.
It's like,
Your mom was trying to
unfortunately,
kill
my
you.
mom's been dead for 20 years, so I lost my immunity that I built up like iocane powder.
Oh, exactly. He was building up immunity over time, and
But just
Just
to
doesn't
add
have
like
it anymore.
a cherry on top to this whole scene, and eventually what we get is that isn't even the thing that really kills him.
No.
It's another like swiping the rug out into you.
This is a perfect leeway into that. So the Father Frank's not feeling well. He starts
The beat
beating
of
some
sweat.
Yeah.
And he's just like,
I gotta poop.
I'm
I
gonna
gotta,
excuse
like that's the
myself.
internal monologue. Is like I either gotta throw up or poop so bad.
So really
I have to leave
quickly,
this house.
when we were
He's like, I'm
watching
going to blow up this bathroom.
when we were watching this, I went over to Cody and I was like, wait, how long does it take for rat poison to like reach your system? Like how long does it take to kill you?
And
Because
the
it takes
answer is much longer than
feel like
this
it's-
scene.
well, Cody
Yes,
was
of
like,
course it
I don't
is.
want to Google that.
I see because
Ooh, get on the list. Do it.
You're already on a list. Google
I opened up incognito mode, made sure the VPN was on, and then I looked up rat poison toxicity. And I got to tell you, the answer is it probably takes several days to truly like kill you, but it will be very variable based on the type of rat poison it is. Most rat poison today is not like lethally toxic in that you would have to have so much of it.
I was going to say, you'd
But
probably have to have a ton, right?
Really?
How much?
Yeah.
Oh,
But-
but just we need to be
Just
like rat
for the
poison
viewers at home.
extra deathly. That's the addition that we need.
But if it's like real
Interesting,
old timey,
Ooh.
then it could have something different in it. I don't remember the exact like chemicals that it was in, but old timey rat poison could have something that is more lethal at very small doses, but it still will
Okay.
take some time to really kick in. And they did not use an actual rat poison. They made this rat poison.
And-
I Googled the company name because I
Oh,
wanted to
nice.
see which chemical it
Yeah.
was. I'm trying to be very thorough here. This
Did
is
it
like
say how
amazing.
quickly?
this is the
did
one
it-
like expertise that I can bring to the podcast.
And just for the FBI agent hearing this podcast, this is all just
Hypothetical.
research purposes. This is for a movie.
Mhm.
Did it say how long it takes to make you poop?
It did not.
Or need to throw up. Because that's ultimately, but it seems like poop because, right?
Well, it could-
he
honestly,
doesn't want to stink up the bathroom.
Those look like poop sweats.
They did. I mean,
look-
that
the
could
look-
just been the chili.
It's the bubble
That
guts.
could've- Well, it's
Right?
rat poison
God.
chili.
He could have just said it. Yeah.
It's come out of both ends. Like he's like,
Yeah.
I need 2 toilets. I need at
Funnily
least a
enough,
toilet and a sink.
Nico was the one who had the rat poison. We just didn't find out till after the movie was over.
Her mom had been trying to kill her and she had built up a
Yeah.
tolerance.
Yes.
Exactly.
There we go. But this cuts to Father Frank is like, I got to get the hell out of here. He bolts, and we cut to Father Frank being a little cut up because he's not doing too well.
Oh, yeah.
He got
I
into a
love
car
this
accident.
cut. Speaking
Ooh.
of just how the
Mhm.
movie's made, he leaves and then it cuts to somebody like lighting a flare and setting it along the road, and the road's covered in
Mhm.
flares. And I like that it jumped to the aftermath. And everything, in a weird way, everything about it said to me they didn't have a lot of money to do this. Cutting to it, all the things, but
Well, it's all
done
stationary.
yeah,
Like you don't have to
it's-
film him like getting into the accident.
Yeah.
right.
You just
Exactly.
show
I
the
think it's-
accident so that avoids a lot of
It's
moving
done
parts.
so
I think.
well. I really admired seeing like, hey, I can tell you didn't have a budget, but
Well-
only because I watched so many movies and I'm thinking about that. Otherwise, this story plays perfectly. Like,
Well, it's so Hitchcockian in the fact of like showing what needs to be shown. Like you don't necessarily need to show the accident. The aftermath is more than enough. And then you kind of get your own, like, I don't know. I feel with that kind of stuff, you visualize and materialize in your head shit that would be way worse than what would anything that they could videotape. You know what I mean? Like, or
Yeah.
record.
And it's kind of a shock too, just editing wise, where you just pan out and you're kind of collecting the information as you go when you see the cops, and then you get the shot of him with it there. And I'm like, what?
If you had
Even
so
seen
he
better
had a
than I
head-on
expected.
collision that somehow flattened the roof of his car, so there's just metal surrounding his head. His head's just like popped out of the roof of the car.
Though I
essentially,
will
'cause
say,
it crushed down on him.
The police
That's kind of how it looks.
officer needed to calm down a little bit. We were like, hold on. Let's
What
not rush.
was there anything they could have done? I thought about, let's say they waited
Well, given that he was fully
How could you-
decapitated, no. But the first move is not.
But he's not until it gets
huge
taken
piece of metal
apart.
out. Yeah.
Like, could you
I
have
don't think there's a
stabilized
way
his head and then
deconstruct
removed it
that mess?
and figured out a way to save him?
Well,
No, he always has to
No,
live
right?
like his head is popped out of a car and he has to drive around. Like, that's
Yes.
just how he is the rest of his life.
Well, but you're
It's Pez
He's a
dispenser.
transformer.
It's Pez dispenser
Yeah.
priest.
yeah.
No, I
He's
feel like if you
He got
gave,
stuck in transformation.
I really feel like if you gave this to the writers of Grey's Anatomy,
Chuddle.
I feel like they would have found a way.
You know what?
They would have found a way.
You know what? No, you know who would have
See?
found a
Right.
way? 911
House.
would have found a way.
911
Have you guys-
would have found a way.
yeah.
I
They
don't even
would
watch
have.
that show. I see clips of that crazy shit.
I still need to watch that on your recommendation.
Oh my
it
God.
seems like
My
You guys
God.
need to
my
watch
type of
it.
thing.
It looks
It's so
I
insane.
it's so bad.
I love
but
insanity,
so good.
like turned to top
I
notch.
don't know.
It's
I
so
don't know.
crazy.
I'm on season 2.
I think it'll give my wife too
Yes!
much anxiety.
I don't. It's so bonkers.
So now this takes us at home. We're chilling, watching some home movies. Everyone's hanging out. They're watching on an old projector. And then we get eventually to some creepy dude hanging out in those movies as well. And we
Creepy
recognize who
dude.
that is. It's Charles Lee Ray.
It's Charles Lee
Weird.
Ray.
He gained a lot
It-
of weight since we last
He
saw
looks a
him.
little
According to
older.
Brad Dourif, he had to wear a wig. Did you recognize the wig? Did you know that was a wig, Sam?
No, I thought that was natural hair.
I did.
Okay, good.
So my wig radar has gone up
Astronomically.
to where I can see one now. If
Okay,
it's
it's
really,
a
really
one
bad.
scale. Yeah, okay, yeah. And also massive amounts of makeup to make him look like he did in the original Child's Play. I mean, they tried.
Really?
In this,
In-
so hold on.
Lighting
I
and
feel like they did.
like yes.
So-
I mean, I just
I feel
put
like
that
they did that in the later scenes. In this one, it looked like they did not, because they're like, it's gonna be supposed to be 8mm. It won't pick it up, and I'm like, I feel like it should.
Well, he was definitely wearing a wig and massive amounts of makeup. I would say, yeah.
Yeah.
I felt like he was made to look younger later with the massive amount of makeup. In this first one, I was like,
what kind of what kind of
is he in
confused-
disguise?
what kind of confused me? It happens later, but just the look of Charles in this. For like during the actual cookout is hilarious because like he's wearing that weird. It's not a Hawaiian shirt, but it's like it's a printed shirt.
Kind of.
Yeah.
And it
and I'm-
shows how much bigger he is. Because
Yeah.
he was like thin then, you know.
But what's interesting is that when she pulls up later in the movie a photo of him from there, it looks to me like because I know they did it later down the road. It looks like her in prosthetic makeup to look like him.
interesting.
Mm.
You
Which
you can definitely see their similarities.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Definitely. Well, at some point he's obviously wearing that wig the whole time and got a lot of makeup on. Alice interrupts to let us know that Chucky's gone, but it is bedtime, so Jill takes Alice up to bed and then to look for Chucky while that's all happening. After looking around a bit, Jill isn't able to find Chucky, so she asks Alice about him, and this is where Chucky like runs by in the hallway, and she's like, "There he goes."
That part's so good. All right, that's probably the best joke, maybe.
That's definitely a fun one. And so Jill's like, "Oh god damn, I have to deal with all this shit," and goes off to continue the search. And then we get some tense walking around, jump scare moments, with like windows opening and all this shit. But this ultimately leads to the reveal of Barb kissing Jill, and it's like, oh, because they're playing
the
around with
misdirection.
They had set
yeah.
up before that it seemed like
the
if
husband.
there wasn't a relationship
Ian.
between the husband and the nanny, he was definitely interested.
I
is
could
how it
just sense
seemed.
Dawn in the writing room being like, "Ooh, this is good. This is good. Let me." Oh,
Yeah.
You know what
This'll
you
get
know
him.
what I thought in Chucky voice. Ooh, Lesbos.
yes, yes.
Bravo.
Oh my god.
So great, we've revealed that, and then back at the where they're playing the movie, Nika discovers Ian falling asleep. Chucky's next to him, and Ian's like, "Oh, Chucky's pretty dope. The '80s were awesome," and like the whole time. And Nika offers to take Chucky up to Alice. This takes us onto the elevator. On the way up, power
Cue
cuts out.
Suspiria music.
That's when I was about to ask you, is this where you thought the Suspiria music was? Yes.
Absolutely. And then this is the same music that plays in the credits, I think. But
Sure.
yeah, as soon as this music started, I was like, oh, a little Suspiria.
Gives you that little whimsy.
Did you think that when you saw it, or did you
had already said
have
that
that in your head from me saying that? Okay.
before I had seen that. So I was like, this is that moment.
Yeah.
Okay. Nika's calling out for help, ringing her bell, but nothing's happening. She's just sitting in the dark. Barb's still making out with Jill and kind of like pissed. She's like, Nika always needs my help. And like,
damn, she's stuck in the elevator.
She sucks.
Oh my god,
Right? She sucks so bad.
This isn't even like, I don't even know what it could be
And
like.
yet in a grounded way, not over the top.
Right.
It is a tough balance.
No, it is, because you can make it seem very like Disney villain, but
Yeah, we get it. We don't like you, but we
wait,
don't feel that way.
but that's like her personality, you know.
I do want to point out, because I like to point out things that don't make sense in the movies, is that Nika is in the elevator because the power went out in the house. However, there are still lights on in the kitchen in the scene where Nika is ringing the elevator and she's like, I have to go help her.
Oh, sure.
Oh.
I don't know. Faulty wiring. This house is pretty old. Maybe it's on a separate. I don't fucking.
Also, this elevator is bound
The kitchen's
to
on a different grid.
Yeah.
this elevator. I feel like is bound to have a lot of accidents.
Yes.
We could definitely see Alice like playing around here, getting her finger caught in one of the
Ooh,
things.
yes.
Like this whole elevator just made me nervous from the beginning. But I do like
That's why I
this
liked
scene
Nervous
where we
elevator.
like went up and she's just in the darkness, and we kind of spent some time with her
Mhm.
in there, and we hear the sounds from Chucky, and that was pretty cool. I liked all that.
And I'm actually just
I like all that.
I'm just now putting together that this may be another like small nod to the original one, because in Child's Play there was also a similar elevator in
Yeah.
the apartment building.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, for sure.
That's right.
Yeah.
And did we get the scene already with the mom and the daughter? And you dot life's a bit whatever.
No,
God's
we
not
didn't.
real. No. Okay. Okay.
Still trapped on the dark elevator, Chucky. With Chucky, Nika sits in silence. This is where we hear like a knife slice noise as well. So it's super quiet, and we hear like, and then we sit in quiet a bit longer. And this jump scare I thought was great, because right as the elevator powers on or whatever, Chucky's head is turned completely around, and he just like laughs. It's like,
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
sitting there waiting for
But
it.
it's also the fucking laugh from it took me a minute to realize where it came from, but the laughing in the dark episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark with fucking Zeke the Clown.
Oh
It's the
yeah.
same-
Oh, it
It's the
is.
same fucking laugh. And it killed me the first time, where I was like, I remember this laugh from somewhere, and it's fucking giving me goose.
I thought the same
It's
thing,
giving
but
me-
I didn't know where I was
It's
hearing
giving
it
me
from.
flamingo follicles, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh god damn it! And by the second one, I was like, oh my god, it's an Are You Afraid of the Dark?
Sounds like a kid who had cable.
Yeah.
Damn.
I wouldn't know. So I enjoyed that whole scene. It's a fun little jump scare, turnaround, tense moment. And then Nika returns Chucky to Alice, and this is where we get in Barb being overprotective. We learn that Nika has this heart condition. And then we also get Alice noticing Nika has this big old cut on her leg. It's out of nowhere. Where the hell did you get that from? It's
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't feel anything. These legs, they feel nothing. These old things.
She doesn't feel anything.
The thing about Barb kind of being a villain is it's like she does care about her sister. She just wants her sister to do whatever she says and live the kind of life that she wants her to live.
Well, at the same time, they kind of make her a little bit more dimensional later on, where she reveals that what happened to her actually has affected her childhood or growing up. So it was like all about
Sure.
her and not herself. So she maybe that attributed to how selfish she is now as an
Sure.
adult.
I mean, yeah,
Of
for
course.
sure. I like it's one of those things where it feels so like unreasonable and horrible now. And once you get the backstory, you're like, kind of understand how someone might feel this way, like a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean, if your younger sibling, like everything is about them, obviously because of a disability, it would make it made me feel a little more sympathetic towards her character. She's still terrible. She's still
Yeah.
terrible.
She's still
Yeah.
terrible.
Yes.
And even in that moment where she's revealing more about herself, it's like a moment where like, you have it all wrong. Like, stop.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm. You're so close.
Barb takes Alice to bedtime, and while she's saying her prayers, she mentions, well, what about Chucky? To which Alice replies, Chucky says there is no God. That life's a bitch, and then you die bleeding like a stuck pig.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds about right.
Very reminiscent of Child's Play.
Exactly.
With the said so-and-so was a bitch that deserved to die. Is that
Yeah.
what it is?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point, would you let her still sleep with the doll? Do you think that as a parent, you'd be like, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't.
Yes, absolutely. I would take the doll. I'd be like,
Yeah,
all right,
I think it's time.
Well, and Chucky's gonna go away for the night. I'm gonna talk to Chucky about what he can talk to you about, because that's inappropriate. And who knows? I
But
probably
funny
throw him
enough,
away and
I
get killed or something. But
I feel like
definitely.
Alice would have understood. I don't know why. I feel like she's the kind of child who was like, okay, mom, and then would have gone to bed. And on the other hand, I feel like would have had a tantrum.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, he's my friend till the end.
Yeah.
Until
Which
I'm
is funny
bleeding
'cause
like
I
a
think
stuck
both
pig.
I think both kids are very like sweet and cute.
Yeah.
For Andy in the original Child's Play and Alice in this.
Oh, for sure.
During this, Nika is making a phone call trying to figure out where the package came from, and before it disconnects, she's having all sorts of like connection problems. It's like whatever evidence depository. She's like, what? That's weird. Doesn't sound right, but okay.
It is weird, because why would that be the case?
Because if
that's where it got sent from, right? But
exactly. But I guess it
the
would be
repository isn't sending it. What we find out later,
I was going to say, it would
jump to that is
it would be
been,
too on the nose to be like, well, the actress Jennifer Tilly mailed this directly to your house. You know,
Maybe
it'd
it's
be
sent as like the cop that worked there or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So that's what she finds out. Alice is in bed scared at this point. There's a storm that's been going on. So she goes under her covers with Chucky, tells him that she's scared. Chucky starts to laugh in his maniacal voice, has some crazy eyes again, getting all bloodshot. And he says, you fucking should be. So that's
just like, oh.
First time he breaks
it's
character,
cool.
really.
They're making him scary.
Yes.
Like,
it's indeed what they're
scary
trying to
again, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean,
And-
not for me.
Right, of course.
Oh, because, I mean, you're a big boy who doesn't get scared.
Next, we
Goddamn
have
right.
Nika and Jill. Nika goes to check on Alice and sees Chucky sleep in the bed with her, and then Jill pops up. And they have this little chat where Jill does mention at this point, she's like, oh, thank God for that doll. I haven't seen Alice so happy in months or something like that. She's like, I wouldn't care if it came from Charles Manson sent it. It's like, she's so happy. So that's why they're like, oh, I guess the kid can just keep having the doll that's, teaching you there is no God.
Also, I gotta say,
out of
the
stuck pig.
The amount that they're paying Jill to be an au pair, for me, I feel like she could have had a little bit more. I feel like she said she was getting paid $400
$400 a week.
$400 a week, and she's living with them, spending time the whole time. Even though she does complain about having to do things for Alice, like look for her doll, but I feel like she could have asked for more.
I mean, I guess it totally depends, right? If she is truly like a live-in nanny, then $400 a week is not bad, because you're getting your basically room and board covered as well.
Right.
Oh, fair.
And who
Okay.
knows how that extends to meals and stuff as well. Yeah.
But if this is just like she's just here for the trip sort of deal, and it's a normal like 40-hour work week, then she could do better.
She's there for Barb.
Oh, did we already find out about the scheme they're doing about
what do you
getting the
mean?
money?
Oh, so they can like run away together or something like that?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, never
but
mind.
I just mean she's there for like the $400 a week might not be great, but she's, I guess, in love with the mom.
Sure.
Enough to the point where in the same bedroom with the daughter, she's gonna.
That's where we're at right now. She decides to take off her clothes and just slip into bed and be like, all right, let's.
And start like webcam sexting 15 feet or 10, no, like 6 feet.
5 feet
from a
away.
child.
Yeah, like
from a kid. It's like, stop. What?
On top of
No.
their child.
No.
Oh, and Serge, I think you are
With
right,
that
because
child's
when
mom.
they're making Yes, who of all things, it's not that you're sexting with a woman that's 5 feet away from your child. It's that you're wearing a wedding ring. That's the part that creeps you out. You're like, let me take this off.
I can't do this.
Oh, my kid's moving around back there.
You are 100% right. In dialogue, when they're making out in the kitchen, they talk about taking the money and like,
that's what it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even have that note. Yeah, because I was like,
I don't even recall that plot point.
So they're having their odd video chats and everything, and then we see in the background Chucky get out from the bed and like moves around. We're like, oh shit, Chucky's gonna start Chuckying. And then we get this shot of him down on the floor, and there's been like this bucket there that's been collecting water as it's been dripping in from a leak. And he's holding a knife, and you think we're going to get a stabbing or something, but nah, he just kicks that bucket over. All that water falls onto the ground, exposed into an electrical socket there, and zaps.
Which is awesome because it's like that old school in the floor socket.
Like straight
Old
down.
houses,
Yeah.
the ones just coming out of the floor.
Exactly.
I just loved his movement in this because it kind of felt like somebody just had to like whack him to like kick the bucket.
I was actually very frustrated by that, only because Joe's about to go to bed with the bucket with like a half an inch to go. And it's like,
And
that's
empty it.
Yeah, right.
come on.
She ain't thinking about that.
That's a really good point. But she
doesn't live in a house with
Yeah,
leaks.
she's got some barb
She's
on
not-
her mind.
Yeah, exactly.
She's busy getting wet in other ways.
Oh god.
Oh my god. Oh.
After this,
As
Chucky,
I say that and lean back for reaction.
Hey.
After this, Chucky goes on the hunt. Now as the power goes out again, Barb goes to check on Alice. But before then, Ian pretty much let Barb know that he's sus of her, and he put a nanny cam in Chucky.
She's
lays
like,
it all
"What,
out there.
me? I've seen the way you look at her."
He's like,
And
ditto.
they had played that up before, but now, knowing it, I do like that on a rewatch, how you're like, oh, to me, it's him being suspicious now. You know what I
Right.
mean? When you see his plans.
Right.
He knows
This
what's
little
up.
dialogue just felt so like soap opera to me. It just like, I see the way you look at her. Ditto. Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, this whole movie to me feels kind of melodramatic.
Yeah.
I mean, all the
Yes.
Chucky movies are, but
In
yeah, I would
that
agree with
aspect,
you.
exactly. In the way that all Chucky movies are melodramatic, this is kind of this
Leaning into it a little bit.
psycho-esque B horror movie
Mhm.
slasher
And
version
yet grounding
of that.
it more at the same time.
Right.
Do they
right.
explain why at the end of this movie she doesn't talk about the nanny cam actually showing Chucky move?
That's a
It's
very
like
good
the-
point.
Because it's the biggest piece of evidence to show she's not insane, and that this doll. Because I mean, it's saved like an iCloud.
Oh,
or something.
yeah.
Assume they don't
Find
No,
it.
Ross.
I
That's
don't-
just too good of a point.
Well, Chucky probably could have gotten rid of
No
it.
rebuttal. Cops, man. Legal system, bro.
Bro, yeah.
Well, I mean, they seem, and that cop, I think, is intent on making it seem like she did it.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The one
'Cause
that does the test, because was the father who died was his sponsor. That was that cop, right?
Mhm.
Yes.
That testified
Yeah.
against her. So I think he didn't. He only cared about the evidence that pointed towards her and made sure that she went away
Mhm.
for it no matter what, because she obviously is crazy. He had said that she is crazy and was the reason that his father Frank died.
Died.
She
Yeah.
certainly seems crazy. You see
Yeah,
her
she
getting
plays
rolled
into it.
jail, she's like,
Leans
I'm
into
still
it hard.
alive.
I mean, yeah, like what leads her there is Chucky going on and killing the rest of the people that she knows, pretty much, except for Alice at this point. But
Yeah.
they're
I
all
think she
looking
meets
around.
Andy's mom. Sorry.
Well, Barb finds Chucky sitting on the steps, and then she thinks Alice is off playing hide and seek. These are like the steps that lead up to the attic. So Nika then
Yeah.
tries to
Mhm.
warn Barb that Chucky's an evil doll, but Jill thinks this is all about the nanny cam. That's a
nanny
fun
cam.
little. It's what's
Miscommunication.
inside of him. He's just like, you knew about what's inside of him, and you didn't tell
That's
me.
real.
What a like strange way to say this doll is possessed by the spirit of a serial killer.
How
Like-
else are you gonna have this scene without talking weird?
It's a real Frasier moment, you know.
Yes.
It
Totally.
Oh,
just-
sure.
it just really feels so like inorganic from Nika
Right.
specifically.
Sure.
It's-
I'm not saying you're wrong. Barb storms off to find Alice, and Nika then drags herself up the stairs. She's like, I gotta
She
get
is
up there somehow.
determined.
Yeah,
She's
she's very
determined.
determined. In the attic, this is where we get Barb is looking over Chucky, trying to find the cam at one point, but instead finds a butcher knife just like hanging out. She's like, oh,
What the
good
fuck?
God. Imagine, okay, so you've let your kid have the doll. And then you find the doll, and the doll has a
huge
butcher knife. in it.
Oh my god.
God damn, there's some major conversations headed my way.
I think my first thing would be like, God, I really need to pay more attention to my child.
For sure.
There's a lot that needs to be happening here.
Gonna
Nika,
have to lock my knives up.
damn, never thought. Nika continues making her way up the stairs while Barb is looking around the attic for Alice. She's surprised by a rat and then quickly turns around to see Chucky sitting like right there in front of her. She notices that Chucky's face looks a little odd and starts pulling off some skin. And then that starts revealing
So-
all.
It didn't get a chance to
When
reapply.
this started, I was really excited, and I was like, "Oh, that's why he's been so fucked up looking. Is because it's like covering all his wounds. So
Mhm.
when all this comes off, he's gonna look cool again." And
It's close. It's close. But no.
So yeah, he's looking kind of like he did in our previous films. They're missing some of the, I think, scars more up on his head and all this stuff
yeah,
that's going
yeah.
on.
But
So
I
there's
mean, in
less
this-
of it. But
in this moment while watching, you don't know if everything is like, so it's canon still, like you don't know where this fits
Right.
and everything.
Mhm.
Obviously, you know,
Sure.
the video with Charles Lee Ray in it, but when she starts to peel off, I kind of felt like, oh, there's our Chucky. There's
this
the one
is-
we
This is
know.
the
Hide
same
down there.
timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really cool. I will say, like, having the little split things on there just come out of nowhere, even though we haven't seen that on him before. Kind of
Was
funny,
weird.
but yeah, like it
But-
overall.
Made for a
he
good
got
scene.
a little
Yeah.
roughed up or something. I don't know. His,
Yeah.
his makeup is coming off. So, but she goes to like, she's like, oh, weird. I'm gonna like go finger his mouth a little bit. Right as she's starting to do that, he jumps at her and he delivers a line, "You have your mother's eyes. They are always too fucking close together," and then stabs
Oh
her.
my god!
Right in the
in there.
fucking eyeball.
Which then I
was
love the
pretty
next
good.
shot, which is Nika making it up to the base of the stairs of the attic, when coming down the middle of the stairs is just an
Just a
eyeball
squish,
bouncing its way
squish,
down.
squish.
Its way down.
Uh,
Soon
I wonder
followed
if
by
human
Barb's
eyeballs
body.
are that bouncy.
I don't think so, but for this gag, I love that they are.
I don't know. The
Yeah.
eyeball bouncery in this movie is pretty good.
I
Pretty
could
good to know.
I could believe the eyeball bouncing if it weren't for the fact that it was also just stabbed. Like,
It looked deflated a little bit.
Shape wise.
Yeah.
well,
yeah.
I just think that the liquid inside the eye would
it,
Make it kind of stickier.
right.
Yes.
If not,
It would
not
just
so
kinda like-
Slinky-esque.
flop. It would be,
Yeah.
'cause-
yeah.
I don't know if this was
The
like
dong water inside the eye.
Yeah.
would have leaked
If you
onto it.
got dong water inside your eye, that's
You need to be flushing your eyes. Flush.
Yeah.
Flush.
I don't know if this was supposed to be like a direct homage, but there's a movie from the 80s called The Changeling, which is like it's a ghost story about like a ghost kid.
Mhm.
But there's an iconic scene where it's from the top end of the stairs and it's a ball that just drops down the stairs. And that's all I thought
Oh,
of. Just
yeah.
a
I know that
probably
scene.
is,
Yeah, it probably is a
yeah,
reference.
Very well.
Yeah.
'Cause they love to throw those in all these movies. So
I also watched the trailer to this movie right before we came on here, and a few of these scenes post reveal are in the trailer, but they digitally took off all the stitchings on Chucky's face.
Ah,
So they kept it. So I guess
weird.
they were still like, no, we still got to be secret about that.
Oh,
true.
interesting. Yeah, I'm
It's
sure.
even weirder. Fucking-
Ian's sleeping this whole time because he's got earplugs in, and then Chucky comes down the stairs and starts pursuing Nika. She makes it to her wheelchair and goes to find Alice.
Her weird chair.
Her weird chair. She discovers
Brian.
This one's not as good.
Jill's fried body instead and continues on. Then
Which
she looks
also,
into.
which Oh, sorry, with Jill too. It's another eyeball thing because like when she gets electrocuted,
Oh, yeah.
it just one of her
Yeah.
eyes just starts burning out, and then
And
it
it
almost
looks
looks
kinda
like
like
Chucky's
Chucky's
eye.
opposite
Chucky,
eye.
yeah,
It was
exactly.
the opposite eye.
It's the opposite eye. It's kind of like they both come together.
Aw.
Cute.
Ooh, I didn't even think about
Cute.
that. Ooh.
Maybe they were meant to be.
They were meant to
I
be.
think so. Nika eventually makes it to the room Ian's in, locks the door, wakes him up, tells him what's happening. He's like, I have no clue what's going on, but runs off to find Alice. Eventually, he finds Jill's
Best
body and
earplugs
carries
ever, by the way.
Nika downstairs. Great earplugs.
Mm-hmm.
And then he takes Nika downstairs, gets her into a wheelchair, takes her to the garage, is like, puts her in here. It's like, I need to go find Alice. Nika's like, just stay away from that doll. Whatever you do.
Now, I am very much a non-believer, in spooky things in real life. But if shit is going down and there's bodies and I'm running around and doing things and somebody's like, stay away from that doll, that is the time where I will heed that advice and be
Yeah,
like,
I think
you
so.
got it.
Sounds
I
good.
see that doll, stay away, kick it, whatever. My wife and I have a code where, so that was,
Uh-oh.
I had this conversation with her, and we have a code word now for when we're in public and we don't want to draw any attention, but we just need the other person to listen to us and not ask questions.
Oh, okay.
And the code word is actually just our names, but it's Sammy, because neither of us like being called Sammy. So if we're like, Sammy, we need to cross the street now, it's no, why, what's going on? It's just, okay, we got to cross the street now.
Mhm.
And this would be definitely like, Sammy, stay away from that doll. And it's like,
Oh,
okay.
means business.
Fair enough.
Oh, I love that.
We have a word. Do you remember what it is? Because you always forget it.
Fuck. Oh no.
We have one?
Oh, busted.
Wait, hold on. Let me. No, I don't know it. Oh no, I'd be in trouble. What is it?
I don't know.
It's cantaloupe, because neither one of us like it.
Oh, I don't
So
like
it-
cantaloupe. Yeah.
So if it's like don't let me forget to pick up some cantaloupe on the way home, then it's
Then
like
that's bad. Then you know.
Oh, yeah.
Got it.
That means you're like being trafficked or something.
Yep,
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
In those very popular cases, yes.
Don't get me started on honeydew.
Oh, I don't
right?
know.
Honeydew means I am already like overseas and I need you to call it Jack Bauer.
Move
Like,
on
if
with
I'm
your
calling-
life.
Uh-huh. Move on. Oh God, we've reached threat level honeydew. All right, so Ian goes around,
Red level
searches the
honeydew.
house. He's searching. Chucky, while he's doing that, Chucky's made his way into the garage. He traps Nina in there and turns the car on, starts just fuming up the place, revving that engine, getting those fumes going. Nika finds a hand axe and smashes that car window trying to get to Chucky.
Can I just say I'm a little frustrated by this scene particularly because in different flashes, Chucky switches between whether he's in the driver and passenger seat, and yet is consistently revving the car. So this tiny little doll is revving the engine while sitting in the passenger seat. Like,
I don't know. Maybe
He revs it
he's
while
like a.
sitting in the driver's seat. There's a time where we actually see him
Yes.
holding the steering wheel and it revs.
Yeah.
He might
but
have
the
his little
first time
stick.
that it revved, he was
he-
in the passenger seat
it
because you're
wasn't
looking
his
right
feet.
at him.
He's a tripod. That's actually
Oh my god.
Actually, so there's been some changes since Seed.
Yeah.
'Cause
He's
I watched
had a
animated
lot
version
of
that.
A lot of
Plastic surgery.
cosmetic. Yeah. A lot
He's
of
in a lot of
surgery.
plastic surgery.
A lot of enhancements.
The works. He went
Also-
in and got the works.
I know we're past it, but when the eyeball goes down the stairs, when Chucky walked down the stairs, it looks so bad. I thought it looked
Well, that's like
terrible. It's
very.
one
It
of
looked
the
very
worst.
CGI-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's some
but
of the
it
It looks
worst
very stop
like
motion
effects.
like
But
weird.
it
or
looked like
something.
Windows 98 level of CGI.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty dope. So Ian is off searching the house while Chucky's doing all this, and I do like how she breaks through and is trying to get at him. When Ian busts in, is like, "Oh wait,
Wait.
you're crazy, aren't you?" yeah.
Oh my
Sorry.
god.
So
is.
yeah, she's like trying to get at the doll that's just sitting there. And
Guys, let me know if I'm wrong on this at all. But does this kill or his attempt to kill seem very like not Charles Lee Ray? I feel like it's I feel like he's usually good, loves the stabbing,
Yes.
and I feel like
he's more brutal. He's
More
just going to
brutal.
push him to hit you with it.
it seems very unlike
Although
him to
I guess
do
he
this kill.
poisoned earlier in the movie.
Okay,
So it's
True.
kind of along those
I have a-
lines.
I have a theory on
Maybe
this.
he's opened up his
He's just doing, yeah, man.
Well,
More
like,
of a
what-
setup.
Tiff said to him
If-
really took to heart. Like, he's got to vary it up.
Yeah. Well, I think specifically with the end of the movie and then the post credits and all that kind of is that like I feel the intent of this was maybe to take over the youngest, but more particularly pin the murders on like not the child, obviously. So like if you like
Yeah.
so having her it like so look like a murder suicide. Whereas I think this is like more planned out than spree killing for him.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
it
a good point.
definitely is. We do learn like he's
Very revenge.
yeah. Soon after this moment, because
So yeah,
Nika,
makes sense then.
yeah, Nika's having her heart condition issues are
Yes.
popping up again. She's like, "Oh, you need to
Stab
inject
me in
me
the
with
ribs,
this
under the rib."
syringe and under the ribs. I need it under the ribs." He's like,
Oh, the ribs.
"I don't think I'm going to do that." So she
yeah,
like
and then-
fades out, passes out, tied up or like duct taped up in the wherever they are. Nika regains consciousness and finds that she's been duct taped to her chair. And Ian's like, "I'm gonna fucking figure out just what the hell happened here." And he believes that Nika has taken Alice. He wants to know where Alice is at. So he's like, "I'm gonna find out by watching the nanny cam. I'm gonna see what the fuck you did."
Oh yeah.
He's watching this and starts getting confused. So he switches to the nanny cam's live stream and
it's
it just kind of sits there way too long as he's watching something
Yeah,
clearly
he's just
approaching
staring
them.
at it.
Well, even
Yeah.
before he seems to be completely unfazed by the fact that this doll is not being carried. It is down close to the floor, and you can hear Charles Lee Ray's voice. And and he at no point does he say nobody else in this house has a voice like that. And the doll definitely is not like moving around on its own. He like watches.
You have tiny hands, but not that tiny.
Yeah, he's like kind of like just like, huh, that's a little
Weird.
odd. That's weird. Like that's
Yeah.
that's as far as he can take it. He can't like put the dots together past like something seems a little odd here as he's just staring at this. And then the thing comes in and Nika the whole time's like screaming around and like trying to
Yeah.
like she sees Chucky comes in, but he pushes her chair which slams into Ian, causing him to like flip over and fall. And
Yep.
then
Whoa!
this is pretty
Yeah,
new
very
and-
comedic, like fall over.
Yes, it is. Yeah, very slapstick. I love it. Just fucking flies over, and then Chucky takes an axe straight to his mouth, which he's like, "Tell her."
Cuts his jaw,
What does he say?
right?
He has a good line about like telling his wife something when he sees her, and then he like chops his jaw off, and he's like, "Well, I guess you can't now."
It's right. Also, I was having the jaw like completely hacked off. I wasn't expecting that. I was expecting
was
like
good.
a decapitation or like in the middle of the head, but just having and then like a doctor tongue just like
Yeah. That was really good.
so good.
I want to say that might be the like kind of goriest that we've seen so far from the franchise, right? Like just
Oh,
to
yeah,
see
I
the
mean-
full jaw come out
It's
and
like,
just look
Well,
at
es-
it.
Well, especially as serious. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
it's not like John Ritter Pinhead. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
But it's also like, oh god, it's like this one felt more like, oh god, goo.
Yeah.
Oh.
And this whole sequence in itself, I feel like it's the most crowd pleasing how this is all set up. I can feel like this section, I could see a bunch of people yelling at the dude, like, look behind you, like, what the, or like cheering for Chucky in this, how they all set it up with the camera and he's behind him and all of that. I really like this part.
So then after this, is when Chucky rushes after Nika and ends up slamming the axe into her leg, but she can't feel that, so she's able to slap Chucky to the floor, pulls the axe out of her leg, and then knocks Chucky's block off. And he's all very doll looking at this point. Like when his head comes off, it's like a doll's head.
Very dull.
Okay,
That's what we thought. Like, why
Yes.
does
so
I said interesting. Don't know why. It's probably still part of that like retcon, like remake world, like where
Sure, yeah.
are we?
yeah,
Because we've
Yeah.
talked about doll gore every movie.
Right.
yeah.
up till this one.
It's the
it's
least all
interesting
gory.
to me. I mean, I guess it's explained, maybe not explained at the end of the fucking movie, but it's crazy to have dull parts, particularly like his neck and stuff, when he has gory facial wounds. Like you see flesh and sinew in his actual under his eye and stuff, but then he's still just a doll.
No
Very
clue.
strange.
So then after this happens, we get a flashback scene of Charles Lee Ray knowing this family and like becomes obsessed with them, seemingly.
Yeah.
And-
So does he say that he drowned the dad, like, or killed the dad, or was that
I don't
just
know if
something
it's
that?
blatantly said, but I believe that's what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's implied,
It's implied
that
that they were,
Yes.
that he's the one.
So he could take this family for his own. He essentially kidnaps the mother, Sarah, and is keeping her somewhere with a bunch of sunflowers. This whole black and white sunflower scene. And she mentions that she
Mhm.
wants,
Super pregnant.
she's like, oh, he's like, I got to go pick up Barb, right? And like, I got to go pick up from daycare. And Sarah's like, no, I want you all to myself. And he's like, you don't want to share me? That would make me really upset. I'd be real mad about that if I couldn't have these daughters.
What happens
too.
when the baby comes?
Exactly. So he's getting real pissed about this. And I guess Sarah has seemingly notified the cops somehow. So they're
And-
coming to get Charles.
This is the catalyst for the first movie. So like this is
Exactly.
yeah.
Good thing they
leads
cut
up-
out all the extra in the beginning of Child's Play.
Right? This whole scene, I'm glad we didn't see this to start with, right? He's uber pissed, and we find out that Nika is disabled because of, I guess he stabbed her stomach in an attempt to kill her or the baby or do
like
something.
this,
Yeah.
Yes. And we learned all this happened right before the first movie. This is when he busts out of there, would be him busting into that alleyway, and it starts. Chucky mentions all the families he's come upon, so we get a whole like back catalog of people that he's affected. But Nika's family has always been his favorite, is something that he mentions as well. Chucky also mentions, I may not have killed Andy, but I killed his childhood. And then this is when Nika really starts calling Chucky out on this, on his like, man,
Not the same, bro.
Using-
You didn't
I like
kill
that
him. You
she's
couldn't
using-
kill him.
I like that she's using her psychology degree.
Yeah, I was thinking the
She
same
didn't
thing.
finish.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, she went to City College for at least long enough to meet the delivery guy. So
Well,
Yeah, all she needed to do was her thesis.
Exactly.
what did she diagnose him with?
The community college thesis.
Yeah.
She diagnosed him with like character obsessive
Something. I don't
complexion.
remember.
I don't know, something like that.
Yeah.
Something fancy.
But
Some
this is
dangerous would kill
also
him.
in this scene and everything is where we also learn that yes, he killed the mother with like a pair of scissors, stabbed her.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where we for sure learn that. And through all this moment, the power snaps back on, and then she's able to like fumble away into the elevator to try to get to safety away from Chucky.
With Chucky slipping on some
Yes.
blood to give her some extra time.
That weird
Thankfully.
shot of him falling on his knee. I don't know why, but it was just like he slips and they just do a real tight shot of his knee hitting the tile. Like that would make him like, oh shit.
How many takes did that
Right.
take?
Probably
Yeah.
too many. Well, they
Too
only
many.
had 30 days to film it. They filmed this in 30 days. So.
Oh wow.
Oh,
Pretty good.
damn.
I
Okay.
honestly, I could have expected less. Or
Right.
I did expect less.
So
I
she
could
makes
have
her way
expected
into.
less.
You could have expected less. She makes her way into the elevator and like closes the door, but has to hold them closed with her hands exposed. So Chucky just goes on a
Yeah.
nice little cut and spree,
Slice.
slicing her hands up a bit, and then
Now the CGI of the open wounds on her fingers, I thought was fucking awesome. Because like, there's one or two scenes where like you see it go like in and completely split, and just like,
Mhm.
ugh.
Ugh.
all of that, and then she grabs the knife with her bare hand to try to take it away. So blade by the blade.
Ugh.
And has
Yeah.
to pull that away
Ooh.
from Chucky, which she's able to, and like goes back into the back of the elevator and is like, fuck it, all right, come and get me, Chuck.
Coming in hot.
I think at the same time is when the cop has been like he's like, I'm gonna go check out the house, or he's like pulling up to the house at this point, so we're getting that kind of setup of him
Yeah.
coming in while she's, I don't know, fighting Chucky or whatever. I think he goes to attack her and she starts stabbing him a whole bunch. or once or whatever it is, and like just fluff starts. We're not getting any of that doll gore.
I only
just stuffing
or whatever, and stuffings.
Yeah. I thought it was like snowing inside. I was confused.
I thought so too at the beginning. I was like, "What in this?"
It's just stylistic stuffing.
Sure.
Well, and I didn't get a chance to say this before, but I was really frustrated that this like completely ignores the canon up until now. That like he turns like the doll physically starts to turn human.
Oh yeah, they mentioned it. Buddy.
Oh yeah.
No,
like his head got knocked
we mentioned
off.
it with the head knocked
with his
off,
head knock off, and that was one of those like. Brrr. I think towards the very end of this, I do have a theory about that. But it's like, but when seeing it, I'm like, dude, I want the gore. Like the doll gore is like what makes the third act of a fucking.
Well, we get real gore in this one though, which we don't in like all of the Child's Play movies.
Exactly, they give us human gore as opposed to the doll. And again, I think I said this when we were talking before. This feels reminiscent of still living in that remake world. And has changed
just
over,
kind of making some alterations.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is like the first one where Chucky technically really, I mean, I guess we kind of kill him, but not really.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, depends on the version you watch as well, because at this point, Chucky like pops up and like screams, and then we get the cop busting in and sees her there and all the dead bodies, and then we get the cut to the courtroom scene where it's determined that, oh my God, she's crazy and killed everyone here. It couldn't have been this doll.
I like when they roll
she's
her
hauled
past
away.
all the evidence.
Yeah, that's
she's
the rat
poison
poison.
at Chucky at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's exactly what happens in a courtroom too, is they make the nice little stage, and then they declare that you are insane, so you couldn't have committed the crime, and then send you to a place for the criminally insane. That's how it goes usually.
You think she links up with Andy's mom in there?
Andy's mom?
I don't. I'll tell you why. Because So this all happens, and again we get like the cops in there like looking at the doll or whatever, and cuts to him walking out with a doll-sized evidence bag, and gets
Trash
into his
bag.
car.
A la
Puts him aside.
Bride of Chucky.
Exactly. Very
I
reminiscent.
was like, this is what cops transport shit in, just garbage bags.
He notices the garbage bag is like breathing, and he starts to get curious about it. And that's when he gets the old cut and caboodle here from
I did like seeing the garbage bag breathe.
Yeah. By actress
And
Jennifer Tilly, not Tiffany. It is Tiffany as
It is
actress.
Tiffany in Jennifer Tilly's body.
Jennifer Tilly's body.
Actress,
Yeah. But this is a nice throat slice.
It's very
This
nice. It's a very good one.
looks nice and open and bleh.
She says something like, "Oh, they'll never learn," right?
Yes.
No.
She did the same
Cops are
thing.
her bread and butter, apparently.
If she feels like
And
her
then
numbers aren't good, she just fluffs it with cops. She's just like, all
I'd
right,
give her
okay.
some evidence if she wanted it. What do you need?
So then it leads to her sending off this package. So we do finally get some, fun Tiffany exchange with, this parcel lady and stuff. But that leads to Alice is living with her grandmother now. And she's come home and grandma's not answering, and Chucky's there. And he's like, I want to play Hide the Soul, basically. He's like, I'd like to play that.
Oh,
Hide the
Soul.
Grandma's downstairs. Don't worry about her. Close her eyes. And this is the long version he's got to do. So we're back to the long version. It's not a quick one.
Yes.
Not a quick snap.
That
And then
jump
cut to
scare.
credits.
That jump scare with the grandma face.
We have to.
Got
That was
me.
hilarious.
That was like,
ridiculous. It was
What
so
was it?
ridiculous.
It seemed very like insidious
Yes.
for some reason. It felt very just like I was like, what
Watch
movie
it.
are
I
we
don't
in?
remember this.
So after he's like saying the incantation,
Slowly
it's a
panning.
slow pan shot, and all of a sudden it's just the fucking grandma in like a bag
In the
With a
bag.
bag over her head going,
Oh yeah.
and then it cuts to black.
Yeah. Though I
Black
do like
Christmas,
that
maybe.
at this point, there's no like transitions to anything. They're kind of just scenes that just pop up.
Yeah.
With
It's like epilogue.
yeah.
It's like the last Lord of the Rings movie.
Yes.
Yes,
It
yeah,
just
sure.
it
Well, speaking
ends,
of-
but then there's another ending.
There is another ending. Because we wait past the credits,
Another ending.
we get the final ending here. 6 months later,
Oh yeah.
a package has arrived with an old Andy has returned. He makes his appearance here, and he gets this very Chucky-sized box in the mail.
Mm-hmm.
He brings it into the house or his apartment, wherever it is, puts it on the counter, and goes and has a phone call with his mom. He's going to be seeing her later or something like that. She's out and doing fine at this point. That's why I say
I thought that was sweet.
I did not see the post-credit scene.
That's why I told you about it in the text when Ross was asking, like,
know,
which ending did you guys see?
I
loved
didn't have the
it.
chance to see it before then. I was trying to finish my second watch before this.
Oh, sure.
And did not.
Well, it's like a minute long, so it's not that like
Yeah, it's not crazy.
much. But but we do get a pan over of, you know, Andy having, you know, pictures of him and his mom and of what's her name from the
Kyle.
Mm-hmm. And while this is happening, Chucky, you see a knife come out of the box and start slowly opening the knife while he's having a conversation the whole time. And then Chucky finally gets up, kind of looks around, and he's going to get ready to like come over to Andy. And then, Jesus, what does he say, Ross?
Oh, God damn it. I texted it to you.
I assumed you sent it in the text because I almost text back. I'm assuming that involves the end credit scene.
Play with this.
Play with this. And he's holding a shotgun and shoots Chucky in the face. And it just cuts to black.
Awesome.
You don't see anything from it.
You don't see the actual stuff.
Yeah.
So this post-credit scene, on top of the fact of like non-dull gore, I got the impression that is there more than one Chucky at this point? Because like if it's the girls gets possessed, then it's like, okay, well now Charles Lee Ray is in a little girl's body.
But they both look the same.
I just don't think he successfully possessed her. I don't think he did it.
Oh, maybe
grandma came back alive.
Oh, that's true.
Grandma popped up.
Took off.
Yeah. Grandma was I guess still alive. She doesn't go.
Yeah, it made me think that like if he was successful by the actual ending, then it's like, oh, is there just like clones of this? Like, has he just mailed himself out?
I don't think he's doing that yet.
Is he already?
I mean, either that or he could have just kept the original doll because it's much easier to ship a doll than it is to ship a human inside a box.
A 10-year-old girl.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
True.
I like this because it was definitely fan service, and I'm glad that he got Alex Vincent to return as Andy, and a little bit of like catching up with his mom, because I always wondered about his mom, like what happened, and the implication of like dirty. That she's now with Officer, forgot his name, but like the guy from the first. Chris Sarandon.
Yes, there's implication that they're together.
That they're together now.
Oh,
and
great.
Yeah.
It was really nice. Even though I'm wondering if like he just was like, I'll wait for you after the mental asylum.
Yeah, I'm not going to tell people that you're not crazy, but one day they'll let you out.
Right.
He's like, we'll both end up there. Like, we can't be having that. Like, no, I can't look after Andy.
Yeah,
oh my God. No, he can grow up by himself.
He does have a graduate certificate, so he did graduate.
Oh yeah,
which is wild to me that
he stayed.
He stayed there like an entire fucking like
he toughed it out, man. I mean,
live ammo.
Shit was settled. All right.
I would like to know if like the age math works out between, because we know Child's Play 3. He was in it because it was filmed so soon after Child's Play.
Oh yeah.
So I wonder if like the year that this movie is supposed to take place, if like all the math works out with the graduation and everything.
Sure. Let us know in the Discord if you guys figure that one out.
Yeah.
And
let us know or call
1-800-2.
Let's go ahead and take a quick break and then jump into our questions. Hey, thanks for sticking around. We're back into our crematorium of questions where we're going to start off asking, would we survive this one? How we're going to survive it if we do. So we are trapped in an old Victorian house with a crazy elevator, and Chucky is there. He's hunting. He's being sneaky about what he's doing. He's trying. He's trying to remain hidden.
If we're completely blind to the fact that we don't know anything about Chucky, I'd still, like, just by the beginning of the movie where this doll is mysteriously all over this creepy house, that doll would be immediately locked up in a room somewhere. Like if we're all hanging out and we've rented this house as an Airbnb, we get a shipment in, the doll's acting weird, and then we find it in like 3 unsuspecting locations where none of us have moved it. I feel communitively we'd be like, you know what? We're going to bolt this into a steamer trunk for the rest of our vacation.
Yeah, I mean, that was like a big disappointment for me, is that like the movie establishes that Nika notices that the doll is moving. She's like, that's weird. I'm not going to do anything about it.
Yeah.
Like,
It's fine. I mean, honestly, if I feel like we were in a place together with a creepy doll that kept moving and all of us said, oh, no, it wasn't me, we would all think it was definitely one of the other people. And I wouldn't think, yeah.
That's true. Yeah,
that's how he's going to get us. And then it actually is going to be a creepy doll that gets someone. So at least one of us is dying.
I would have been gotten by the rat poison. I think that would have got me in.
You think, well, that's, done. Okay. So you get rat poison.
Plus, I already have stomach issues. So
so it's just like immediately like, oh, guys, I gotta go.
I gotta go. I'm sorry.
So I think Chucky might get a few of us, but again, it comes into, I think once we're aware of it, and we're like,
once
I don't think you are moving the
win.
doll, it's moving itself, then it comes into play. But he could have gotten one of us in that meantime.
I'm sorry, I have a question to add to the crematorium for this movie specifically that I forgot to ask when we were in the movie part. Maybe I missed it. What did happen to Alice? Why was she just gone?
She was locked in.
She was locked in the closet.
Yeah.
Chuck is like, let's play hide and seek, and she's like, oh, this is a great hiding spot.
Just locked her.
And like literally locked her in somewhere. Save her for later.
Yeah. Child labor laws, can't work that much.
Exactly. Just hide it. We'll take care of that later. You want to make this one gooier? I think yes. In terms of now, I do want some doll goo.
Doll goo.
I miss
exactly.
doll goo.
I want all the goo.
They could have really,
I'm pretty
done more doll
cool
goo
with a bunch of the gore scenes, but I think you got to balance it out with some. I mean, because we're so used to doll goo that like not giving us any doll goo, I feel was a kind of a disservice.
Of course.
yeah. Well, plus, like, just be consistent with the rules you already established in the franchise.
Yeah.
Please. That's my
Is this
ask.
a remake or not?
They don't know what they're doing. It's a direct to video. It's we're flying loose
This
and
was
goosey.
before requels. Yeah,
we're playing around.
I feel like that's the question that people had for that Strangers movie that recently came out.
Oh shit!
It's a reboot. What is it?
It's not hearing
any Strangers
good
movies.
things. Villain level 1 through 10. Power and iconography. Power level is gonna sit probably pretty low still. 2.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, 2 to a 3 because he can also body
because of his
jump.
sneakiness.
You don't
That's
see it.
like his I don't know, manipulative, like his way to just move around, body jump, like Ross said.
Yeah.
He hasn't died yet.
It's true.
Yeah,
And usually
but he hasn't successfully body jumped either.
that's true. I usually also with like Child's Play for like, the iconography for me is always pretty high. This one though, because we get like uncanny valley fight, like what is it? We get the Garbage Pail Kid sucky Chucky for most of this movie. So I feel like it kind of knocks it. The normal iconography 5.
That's true. We don't get the normal Chucky that we're used to. So, and maybe if I'm taking a few points off for, oh God, here it.
The post-nut clarity is back.
I'm taking a few notches because I feel like at this point in the franchise, the iconography has kind of died down a little bit. For Chuckster, I'm going to give 3 for that.
Whoa.
No.
I mean, I think
Too late.
think he's still a 4 for iconography.
No, I mean, yeah, he's still
Because-
Chucky.
Chucky's
4 too.
iconic, but
Yeah,
he doesn't earn a full 5 in this movie.
Ooh,
Totally.
exactly.
Totally.
punish.
I'm giving him a
Punishable.
full 5 for that creepy, disgusting pink eye
Brian
face.
loved it.
Yeah. God.
I love Botox.
Well, it's weird. It's like if you took a
3
Chucky
foot
doll,
long dong.
3 foot long
Fucking Chucky. I'm here for it.
he just looks like if you just punched a good guy doll in the face and it caved in a little bit.
Oh,
And
you
then
know what he
puckered out.
reminds me of? You got You guys seen Clockwork Orange?
Oh my
Where you
god,
guys
yes,
are,
it
like,
is.
there's-
Held open.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that and like a little bit of like, I don't know, like a creepy pasta type Chucky
It's
Like, that's
it's
just-
Jeff
Oh, yeah.
the Killer.
that's been on the
Yeah.
internet for a
Jeff
little
the
bit too long.
Killer.
He's,
Ugh.
he seems a bit smoother overall, his skin. Like, I'm
Botox.
not sure it was
Botox.
rippled before, but it seemed to have a little more
A
texture.
little like dimpling and stuff like that. Do you think this
Yeah.
does this deserve a sequel? What do you want to see coming out of this?
After this one,
Realistically, I think yes, and I think redesigned the doll, but
I kind of would want to know more.
Yes, this was the first one of all of them. Actually, that's not true because of the way Bride of Chucky ends. Where I really wanted to watch the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess only Bride and this one have made me be like, ooh, I want to.
that's true. I have the same. I wanted to dip into the next one just to see what was coming.
Well, because you're left with lots of
Yeah.
questions with like Andy's involvement here at the end, and what's going to happen next to Jennifer Tilly
Mhm.
and
Well,
Nika. This is definitely those shows where like, stick around. What's going to happen next to this character?
Well,
Stick around for more Chucky.
you make a really good point, because I think this is the first installment that he's not blown to pieces, burnt to a crisp, or like killed.
Yeah.
Like he gets
It's
away.
just- last we see him, he seems to have an
Well,
unsuccessful soul
It
transfer.
depends on if you include the post-credit scene, because he gets shot in the face by a
Right.
shotgun. If that's
Yeah.
technically
Oh,
the
yeah.
unrated version versus the rated version doesn't have
Is
that.
that the difference?
That's
Because
one-
I
that's
watched
one
the
of the-
unrated version
that's one of the
both
things.
times.
The unrated also
and
has
did not
longer.
watch that.
In the rated, you don't see the eye stab like
Oh, okay.
directly in.
Oh.
There's a few other
Oh.
stupid little things there, but
You know what I just realized? Why the hell is there a rated and unrated version if this was
It really
direct
isn't
to
that
video?
the rated version was going to be able to be closer to like the played on TV version or something like that.
Oh,
Really?
okay.
Or something.
Like the TNT version
Yeah,
type of
rated.
deal.
TVMA or something.
Sci-fi
is what they're
original.
saying. Because it kept saying the rated version, not like rated R version. So maybe that's
Right.
something differently.
Okay.
Any other thoughts?
Interesting, yeah.
So you want to see? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say that I feel like this definitely deserves a sequel, but for me, I don't know that it like truly needs it. Like, while it doesn't necessarily answer all the like dispositive questions of what happens to each character for sure, I think that it settles things enough that in true requel fashion, this could stand on its own as a movie, because you like Nika's story gets resolved. She's going to, a place for the criminally insane. And you see that Jennifer Tilly like gets the doll back and she's helping him out.
It's
And
just
like,
her life now.
I think that it's buttoned up enough that like you leave enough there that you could do a sequel if you wanted to, but that it's not leaving some big unanswered question of what happens
Right.
now.
That's fair.
And so I think that they did a good job with that
Oh,
aspect
totally.
of it.
I think it's more that I wanted to it did have unanswered questions. It does tie him a little bit, but it's also, I just wanted to explore this universe more because of how it ended.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that you make a really good point, because I think it's like most of these things are concluded to a point, but I'm like, ooh, I want the next chapter. Give me that next installment of like, now.
Yeah.
It's like a reset that you're like, okay, now I understand where we are. Let's see where this goes.
Well, because it even completes the loop of like, what happened before the beginning of Child's Play, and it like it fills in a little bit of these details just to make a like full story out of the franchise to this point.
It's funny. If any movie didn't need a sequel, it's the first one.
Yeah.
Right.
That's honestly fair. Yeah.
That's so true.
Would you buy the soundtrack or score on vinyl? I enjoyed the score for the mood it's set, but I'm not gonna get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll listen to Goblin.
I'll Spotify it.
All right. Is anything action figure worthy here? Do you want an action figure of Funny Chucky? I do. I want this.
I want
this.
I want an action figure of every different Chucky face that we got, like a whole collectible set.
Oh, sure.
Different
so you
heads.
have dehydrated SpongeBob Chucky. You have this Chucky. You've got like the Chucky just with the like really, really big
Tired
under the
Chucky.
eye bags. And then Goober Chucky from the beginning.
Of course. Love it. Those are great options. I don't think there's much else.
I don't need anything from this one.
Sure.
Yeah.
What
At all.
merch? So you don't want any merch or props, so I'll move on to Ross or you guys. No, you don't want
no,
anything
the
from
other
this.
way.
You don't get anything from this.
You don't get anything from this.
I want the house. I want the house.
No. I don't want anything from
elevator.
this. I'm just going to loop that over and over
Over
again
the whole
during
thing.
while you talking.
The action figure.
I want that chili recipe.
That's what I was going to say, Ross. You took my line.
And Brian's the only one who needs it.
Right?
You can't. We'll sell it to you.
I'm good. I will take. Yeah, I mean, I'll take a Chucky doll. I'll take Weird Chucky doll. Maybe. Yeah, that's good. This weird version.
I'll take a house, a Victorian mansion in Rhode Island. I'll make a good buck off
That's
of
a
that.
good call.
Sure, right? I want the father's severed head and severed hand
holding the
holding the
Christ.
rosary.
That's a good.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of want like a toy version of that where, it's kind of like those volcanoes that erupt, but like if you switch
The
something,
head flops
Oh,
his
back.
head
neck.
falls over and it's like
Yeah.
splurts blood.
Speaking of Sam's idea, I want like a Transformer version of it. So it's like Father Frank driving in the car normally, and then you can transform it to him like with his head chopped
Head chopped off.
the car.
Perfect.
Perfect. All right.
You can't pop his head off though without transforming
Of
it.
course.
Like once it's clicked on, you couldn't take it off on your own.
Do you want any promotional popcorn bucket for this movie? Bonus points for fuckability, of course, but
A bonus for fuckability.
I mean, I could go straight sadness and just have Barb's head.
Elevator.
oh,
do the
elevator
elevator.
popcorn.
Oh, an
There you go.
elevator. Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah, I'm sick
That's
of
it.
that. Yeah.
All right, let's go rate this thing.
I only want your fingers.
Should we all, cut our fingers open and bleed on it?
Can you wrap your fingers around this?
I'll take a Voorhees burger and a side of Jason's fingers.
Show them.
All right, it's time to stick our fingers into the elevator as it moves up a floor and chop off some fingers as we rate this on the Chuddle scale. This show we like to use our subjective rating of 0 to 5 fingers. Cutting off each finger adds to the score with engaging, sticky, t-shirtable, cockles, and rewatchable. That's how we come to this. And to get to that, I'll start us off. Why not? And then Ross, Sam, and I'll finish off with our lovely Horror Bandwagon boys. Engaging, I will give it a 0.75. I was pretty engaged throughout the whole movie. Maybe a few times looking away here and there, but I enjoyed more or less what I was, checking out, or I was engaged with what I was looking at, just because I think I liked the cinematography of it. Kept me engaged. Sticky, I mean, realistically, it might get like a 0.5. I don't know how much is going to stick with me with this one, considering it is my first time watch on this. And I watched it the 2 times. I remember a lot now, but I don't know how much is actually going to stick. T-shirtable, that one's a little weird. Maybe like a 0.5 as well, because it is, well, no, fuck it. 0.75, because I'll have fucking like Pink Eye Chucky.
Yeah,
That'll be
Weirdo
fun on a
Chucky.
t-shirt. Yeah, Weirdo Chucky. A bunch of different Weirdo Chuckies hanging out
Mickey
together.
Rourke Chucky.
That'd be fun.
Mickey Rourke Chucky.
And then that leads us to Cockles. Cockles is going to get a 1. I don't know why it was rocking my cockles, but I was feeling it. I was like, okay.
Cool. I thought that was coming.
Yeah, I was like, I'm in here. Rewatchable up point, I don't know, 7.5. Because it could flow between a 0.5 to a 0.75. I actually don't want to give it the full 1, but
Sure.
yeah, I think it sits somewhere there. So what is that at, Sam?
3.75 out of 5.
Cool. I'm
That's
good
an
with that.
excellent rating. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had a great time with this stupid movie. This is not
Yeah,
a
cool.
good
I mean,
get
yeah.
how dumb Chucky looks. That's the most disappointing thing. I think if he looks cooler, this movie might elevate a little bit more.
Mhm.
But for most
Oh,
people,
interesting.
Fair.
I think I thought part of your attraction to it was because it kind of looks so funny.
oh, that is part of my attraction. But I think for other people,
In
it could have got
general, right.
elevated, and like if Chucky looked like Chucky and not
Right.
plastic surgery Chucky. All right, Ross.
Sure.
All right, engaging. Engaging is going to get a 1. I was engaged the entire time. What's funny for me is that I don't know. It's weird. You know the setup, obviously. You know what I mean? Because it's a Child's Play, and they're doing it based off the first one. So like I feel like I would be less engaged because I've already heard this song before, but it was really well how it was orchestrated. I really enjoyed it, and I was still kind of like watching it the entire time. Sticky's gonna get a 0.5 for me. Because there are some memorable things. I think the kills are the most memorable, to be totally honest with you. And then and then maybe chili roulette. But besides that, like, I'm not going to really remember most of the dialogue or kind of the to and fro's and stuff. T-shirtable is, it's a valid argument because it is Chucky. You know what I mean? I think this one's going to get a 0.25 because I fucking hate Chucky so much. The look of him is such a bummer because like I think it makes it worse that you get actual Chucky in the third act of this movie because like if it would like I don't know, it's almost that like
even that looks weird though. It's still not right.
Still looks weird. But if I didn't get that, at least I would have this like weird uncanny valley Chucky the entire time where I'm like, well, that was a weird direction to take him. Maybe. Yeah, I can't wear it. I can't wear that on a t-shirt. I would do Glenda. I would do, there's so many different other ones that I would do before.
This is only getting 0.25 to recognize Chucky as being cool looking, but not this Chucky. Like
not this
it's
Chucky.
more an honorable 0.25.
Yes. Oh man. All right. So Cockles is gonna. Oh god, that's just that face. Brian's just covering his mic, so I'm just staring this thing directly in the face.
Yeah, you are.
Cockles
Beautiful
is.
face.
Oh god, Cockles is gonna get a 0.5 too. I mean, like, there's some great. Again, it's Hitchcockian. It's I think the how the cinematography is really cool. It's just like there's certain things that like really rev my engine when I'm watching certain movies like this. And like the thriller aspect of it, even though I know what is going to happen, how it lays out is just fucking amazing, and how it's shot and just And then you get to fucking to Chucky's face. It's just his fucking, just the look. It's the look. Like this would have been a full 1 for me, and then you had like too long in a barbecue face. You know what I mean? Like it just, I don't know.
It's not good.
It's not good. It's terrible. I hate it. I just hate it.
It's like his like they've been breeding Chucky dolls to encourage their faces to be flat.
Oh my god, it's inbred Chucky.
This is the true son of Chucky.
This is the true son of Chucky. This is like Hills Have Eyes Chucky. And then rewatchable. Even with all that said, I'm still going to give it a 0.5 for rewatchable because like it's a good movie. It's just the character design I don't like. I think that's like the leave it. It's you know what? It's like when everybody's having the chili roulette. I got about 3/4 of the way through the chili that I really enjoyed, and then I started getting a weird taste in my mouth, and then it irreparably changed how I viewed the chili. But I still enjoy the ride of the chili.
All right, dope. That gives you a 2.75 out of 5. Does that feel right?
No, I'm going to bump it up to a 3. It should be a 3.
What can we spare? Maybe we can spare a little cockle to get you up 0.75 there. Does that sound all right?
Yeah.
Got to put it somewhere.
I got to put it somewhere.
Yo. All right. Engaging is going to be a 0.5. Because even though there was stuff that... I don't know. There was just stuff I missed in this, like how I had to ask what happened to Alice.
Yes.
I must have not been paying too much attention. Sticky, I'm going to be generous and give it a 0.5. Ross kind of said a lot of the same things I would remember. Plus, I feel like I'll remember Nika's character, but yeah, like maybe the house, but in general, not going to remember much of the details. T-shirtable, exact same thing as Ross. Throw it a 0.25 because it's the Chuck, but other than that, I'm not interested. And generally, I'm not interested. That is purely out of respect. Cockles. That's tough. I will. You know what? I try and be generous when I can. I'll give it a 0.75. I was probably a 0.5 coming into this, but Brian's appreciation of this has made me like it more. It's one of those, you know what I mean? When you see how much your friend likes something, you kind of start liking it more. So that kicks it up a little bit. And rewatchable, I'll give it a 0.5. I'm not rushing out to see it. I'm certainly not against seeing it. There's a chance I'd watch it outside of a franchise rewatch, but it's unlikely. So
2.5.
what does that give me? 2.5. That feels fine.
Middle of the road. Great. That brings us over to Cody. We're going to start with you and see how.
All
you
right.
feel.
So for me, I think engaging is going to be a 1. I really enjoyed watching this movie. I especially like when we get towards the end and it starts like tying all the other movies in the franchise together. I think that it could have been done better than the way that they did it, but it didn't feel really ham-fisted like tied together movies can often be. So, I enjoyed it. Sticky, I'm honor bound to give this a 0 because I have watched this before, and I said to Sergio as we started, I'm like, I remember nothing except for Nika and the elevator. That's the only things that I remember from this movie. Considering all the big like reveals that happen near the end, I should have remembered more if this movie was sticky at all. So I'm going to give that a 0.
Respect.
T-shirtable, I'm actually going to give T-shirtable a 1. I have 3 particular ideas for T-shirts that I'm going to pitch here. I think so. The first, I think you could make a T-shirt just out of the opening kill, where you have the mom lying on the ground and Nika's reflection in the pool of blood.
Oh, yeah.
I also would like to see a T-shirt where it's like a head, but half of the face is Barb with her eye stabbed out, and the other half is Jill with the other eye that was all like burnt out from the electrocution.
I see that.
And I also would like to go in a completely different direction for T-shirtable than what I normally do, and say that I would like to make a Hawaiian style shirt that has the same color scheme as what Charles Lee Ray was wearing, but the little like things that are all over it are just like a black silhouette of Chucky's head.
This one right here.
Yes.
What we're seeing.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
So I would like to go in that direction for the third T-shirt. So for that, I'm going to give it a 1.
Nice.
Cockles, I'm going to give this a 0.5. I enjoyed it. It was heartwarming a little bit, but I don't think it deserves a full 1. And then rewatchable, I'm also going to leave this at a 0.5. I wouldn't shy away from rewatching it, but it's certainly not the first from the series that I'm going to put in if we're going to rewatch a Chucky movie. So 0.5 it is for that. That leaves me at 3. I feel good with that score.
Nice. Sergio.
Hello. Well, for me, engaging, I'm gonna give it a 1. I kind of applaud this movie for being a Chucky movie, and yeah, we see Chucky, mostly, but by the time Brad Dourif is kind of like full fledged, it's I think 45 minutes into the movie or something like that.
Sure.
So I kind of give it up to the movie for keeping me engaged with the characters and the story that's going on and keeping me interested for that long. So I give it a 1. For Sticky, I'm going to give it a 0.5. And I think it's mostly because I'm being generous, but this is a movie that a lot stuck with me, even when I first saw it. And even now it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm remembering a lot from my watches. T-shirtable, I'm going to give it a 0.5 as well. I wouldn't wear a lot of the stuff, but maybe like the close-up of when Barb is peeling off the stuff and you see a little bit of the stitching. I would wear something like that. Close-up really kind of did it for me. So I would wear something like that, but not my first choice. For Cockles, I am gonna give it. Oh, it's so weird because not a lot stuck with me, but I do find this movie kind of charming. Even the way that Chucky looks so bizarre is a little bit charming to me. It's kind of like, even though like I wish the Chucky was Chucky looking, I think that's what this movie is different about it, is the fact that you can point out how weird Chucky looks in every single part. And even like I still love him when he kind of also looks like a little bit of like a football head, when there's these moments where he can't even lift his head, but he's looking up at you. And I'm like, why are you looking like that? I don't know. That warms my heart.
Right.
That warms my heart a little bit.
I love it.
So I give it a 1 for cockles. I think so.
Yeah.
I feel like that's so weird because Sticky I gave 0.5, but
No, it's fine. Totally fine.
So did I. Rewatchable?
Rewatchable. Not my first choice, but 0.5.
Awesome. So that gives you a 3.5.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels right?
Yeah.
I love it.
Feels good. Awesome. Now let's go check out
Feels
what the rest
good.
of the club has to say. Not much on this end. I believe Scotty from Fun with Horror was just joking when he said 5 fingers, because that's all he said. But he said that for a lot of different movies at a different time. Something was going on. People were joking. And Jim,
Yeah, from horror
movies and shit, comes in and says Curse is a solid 6 out of 10. And Madam Weird says Chucky knows better about something Ross said about socks, and that she's friends with Chucky anyway,
Yeah,
so
she's
it's
friends
fine.
with the Chuck.
Yeah, so it's cool. So I don't know how to. So that's what the club has to say.
That was the club.
We had to give it
Quiet
a
on
total
this one.
of a 3.0 is what it came in at. So that
Okay.
sits right in the same company as Black Sabbath and Friday the 13th. Right above it, we have a whole bunch of 3.2. Well, a couple 3.2s. Rec 4, Castle Freak, and Black Christmas. But again, that's mainly because of Ross. I think our next highest rated, we have Child's Play. OG Child's Play came in at a 3.8. So that was
Okay.
Okay.
below this. We have Child's Play 2 at a 2.5. Obviously, we'll go over all of them.
We're almost
Child's
done
Play
with
3
that.
at a
One
1.8.
We have one left, and that's it for our journey.
left. My God.
Holy cow.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
We got to figure out
what
what to do
happened?
next. We got to do Wreck, the first one, and then figure out what to do next.
Are we going to touch the 2019 remake of Chucky?
Ooh.
It's not Mancini, so
I don't know. Don would be angry at us. He'd be like, "What the hell are you
Well, what if we're
guys
just
doing?"
trashing it?
I've listened. Oh,
Would
that's
Don
true.
love that? I don't know.
Probably.
We want, Don.
what if
let
we
us
think it's
know.
the best one?
Chime in, Don.
Chime in. Don, let us know. Tell us what you think, how we should handle this one. But that is the end of this Chuddle Club meeting for us tonight. So thank you all for listening so much to all of this and our continued ramblings before and hereafter. We thank you for continuing
thank
this
you.
journey with us. And we thank you too, Cody and Sergio from the Horror
Oh,
Bandwagon.
I thought you were just gonna say Cody. Sergio,
Just
you
Cody.
kick
Sergio.
rocks.
We thank you too, Cody.
You guys are,
You guys are awesome
Oh.
for continuing this journey as well.
Well, thank you guys for still keeping us on.
Yeah.
Watch the
We're
Horror
good.
Bandwagon on YouTube.
Yes,
They're
do
the
it.
best.
Yes.
You want some
If you
good
can-
reacts? Go ahead. Sorry.
Had- No,
No, continue.
I love it. I always don't know what to say during these things, but thank you so much for having us on. Yeah, we are on YouTube. We do reactions and we play horror games over there on Sundays.
Yeah, live streams. Podcast is officially actually coming back this time, or is it another false start?
No. It's coming back. We had a collab with a fellow YouTuber named Pugapillar, and he was fantastic. We did a podcast episode comparing Evil Dead 2013 and Evil Dead Rise. But podcast is coming back fully weekly starting in July. So starting actually next week.
God.
Nice.
How do you guys have the time?
Very exciting.
I'm tired. We're both tired, but
I
we
can
love
imagine.
doing it.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Everyone jump in, follow them. Go ahead and follow Ross at Ross Purvis on Instagram. Get at his tattoo work, his artwork, buy his artwork. Go get tattooed by him. Primrose Tattoos. Where are they at?
PrimroseTattooParlor.com.
Yo, get at that place. Get at that shit.
Do you travel to New Jersey?
Oh, I'll do a guest spot in New Jersey.
We gotta get him up here because I'll book him too. So yeah, he's got work up here. He's got work. Follow Sam at Chuddle the Sam on Letterboxd to see what he's watching. I'm over there too at Chuddle the Brine with a Y because fuck it on Letterboxd. And hey, Chuddle the Pod. That's all of us. Instagram, all the community places, you know them. Jump into the Discord, continue the conversation, and until next time, avoid the time loop. So.
You're going to avoid the time
loop.